Hello, and welcome to the Social Intelligent Blueprint, Master Charisma and Confidence Audiobook, brought to you by Liberty Audiobook. I am your host, and I invite you to embark on a profound journey of self-discovery and transformation. Let me ask you something, and I need you to be absolutely honest with yourself right now. Have you ever walked into a room full of people and felt utterly invisible, like you existed in the background, a silent observer in your own life? Perhaps you clung to the walls, pretending to check your phone, secretly praying that someone, anyone, would break the silence and acknowledge your presence. And all the while, that insidious little voice in your head whispered, "You do not belong here. You are not one of them." Or perhaps your experience is the inverse. Maybe, when nervousness takes hold, you become the one who talks a little too much, laughs a little too loudly, or tries a little too hard to be funny, only to drive home replaying every awkward word, every forced joke, every single moment where you felt you completely messed it up, lying in bed at 2 a.m., the echoes of, "Why did I say that? They probably think I am so weird," haunt your thoughts. Does any of this sound familiar? If so, know this: you are not alone, not even close. Here is the inconvenient truth that nobody explicitly teaches us as we grow up. Being smart is not enough. Working hard is not enough. Having talent, a prestigious degree, or even a genuinely good heart, none of it, on its own, is sufficient to navigate the complex tapestry of human interaction and truly thrive. Consider the individuals who genuinely succeed in life, those who forge deep, enduring friendships, who ascend in their careers, who attract meaningful love, who conjure opportunities seemingly from thin air. They possess a shared secret, and it is not luck, it is not inherited wealth, nor is it raw, unrefined talent. It is, in its purest form, social intelligence. These are the people who know how to enter a space and make others feel something profound. They understand the art of listening so deeply that others feel truly seen, sometimes for the first time in years. They speak with a quiet, grounded confidence that compels everyone to lean in, not because they are the loudest voice, but because their words carry an undeniable weight, a genuine resonance. And here is the most liberating revelation. Most of these individuals were not born this way. They were not the popular kid in school, nor were they naturally charismatic extroverts. They cultivated these skills, step by careful step, choice by conscious choice, precisely the way you can. Now, I understand what some of you might be thinking. That sounds wonderful, but I have always been the awkward one. I am an introvert. I literally do not know how to make small talk. I am just not that person. I hear your skepticism, and I want to impress upon you a vital truth. This journey is not about becoming someone you are not. It is not about manipulation or donning a fake smile, or adopting a personality that feels foreign to your very essence. This is about something far more profound. This is about discovering and becoming the most authentic, most magnetic, most influential version of who you already are. It is about unearthing the self that has been patiently waiting, perhaps hidden behind years of self-doubt, fear of judgment, or the suffocating belief that you are inherently not good enough. Throughout our journey together, we will meticulously break down every aspect of social intelligence. You will discover how to cultivate a self-confidence so unshakable it requires no external validation. You will learn to read people like an open book, discerning their body language, their unspoken emotions, and the truths they desperately try to conceal. You will master the art of making first impressions so powerful they linger in memory for years. You will learn to speak with such clarity and purpose that others not only listen, but truly hear you. You will acquire the grace to handle criticism without falling apart, and the wisdom to influence not through trickery, but through genuine trust and profound human care. Here is my solemn promise to you. If you commit to this entire journey, you will not just learn new skills, you will feel genuinely different. You will walk with a newfound grace, speak with a quiet authority, and enter rooms wondering why people are suddenly drawn to you like magnets, because they will be. Not because you have fundamentally altered who you are, but because you have finally ceased to hide the magnificent person you have always been. Ready? Let us begin. And one more expectation before we dive into the depths of our first chapter. This will not be abstract theory. This is not a collection of vague advice that sounds pleasant, but fails to instigate real change. Every principle, every technique, every insight within this blueprint is meticulously designed to be immediately actionable. You can implement these ideas today, in your very next conversation, your upcoming meeting, your next interaction with a stranger or a loved one. The chasm between who you are now and who you aspire to be is not as vast as you might imagine. Sometimes it is merely one intentional conversation, one subtle mindset shift, one brave, decisive choice away. This is your blueprint, your definitive roadmap, your heartfelt invitation to step into the version of yourself that has been waiting patiently to emerge. Each chapter in this audiobook builds purposefully upon the last, guiding you from the bedrock of inner confidence all the way to becoming the kind of individual who effortlessly attracts opportunities, deep relationships, and profound respect. So settle in and open your mind, and let us build something extraordinary together. Chapter 1. Build unshakable self-confidence first. Before you can genuinely connect with others, before you can influence them or lead them, you must first win yourself over. This is the bedrock, the immutable foundation upon which all social intelligence is built. Without this inner victory, every external interaction, every attempt at connection will feel shaky, precarious, like building a magnificent skyscraper on shifting sand. Social intelligence does not begin with deciphering other people's intentions or mastering the art of persuasion. It begins much closer to home, with the most fundamental relationship you possess, the one you have with yourself. Consider this for a moment. Have you ever been in the presence of someone who was visibly nervous, palpably insecure, perhaps second-guessing every single word that spilled from their lips? You felt their energy, did not you? That anxiety, that discomfort, it is almost contagious. It can make you feel a little uneasy yourself, subtly urging you to pull away. This happens because people do not merely listen to your words. They sense who you are beneath them. They feel your energy long before they process your sentences. And here lies an uncomfortable truth, but one that is crucial for our growth. If you do not believe in yourself, deep down, no one else truly will either. It does not matter how brilliant your ideas are, or how objectively correct your opinions may be. Without that inner foundation of self-belief, everything you say, everything you attempt, loses its inherent power and impact. Now, let me clarify something critically important. Confidence is not about being the loudest voice in the room. It is not about puffing out your chest or faking a bombastic, extroverted personality that is not genuinely yours. Real, authentic confidence is something far quieter, far more profound. It is about carrying yourself with a deep, unwavering sense of calm certainty. It is knowing your intrinsic value so profoundly that you feel no desperate need to prove it to anyone, least of all yourself. True confidence does not scream for attention. It whispers with an authority that somehow paradoxically is louder than any shout. This quiet power manifests itself in countless subtle ways. In your posture, the natural way you hold your shoulders back, your head high, in your tone of voice, which is steady, warm, and unhurried, and even in the direct, unflinching way you meet someone's gaze without averting your eyes. It is magnetic. People cannot help but respond to it, drawn in by its quiet strength and unpretentious gravitas. But here is the thing that fundamentally changed my understanding of confidence, and I hope it sparks a similar shift for you. Unshakable confidence is not an inherent trait you're born with. I, like many others, once believed that some individuals simply arrived in the world confident, as if it were hardwired into their very DNA, but it is not. Confidence, like any other skill, is built brick by brick through consistent, intentional action. And here is the insidious trap into which most people unwittingly fall. The fastest way to destroy any nascent confidence you might possess, or to prevent it from ever truly blossoming, is to remain on the sidelines, perpetually waiting until you feel ready. Let me impart a profound secret to you. You will never feel completely, perfectly ready. That elusive moment of absolute readiness is a phantom, a comforting lie your fear whispers, to keep you securely, tragically, stuck. The true magic, the true liberation, happens the very moment you choose to take action, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant that first step may be. In doing so, you begin to teach your brain a powerful new narrative. I can do this. Each step forward, however tiny, becomes irrefutable proof of your capability. And proof, my friends, is the only real architect of genuine belief. It is not built on empty affirmations or hopeful visualizations alone. It is forged in the crucible of actual experience, through actual action. Have you ever finally done something you were absolutely terrified of, only to find yourself thinking afterward, wait, that was not nearly as bad as I imagined. In fact, I actually did it. That precise sensation, that quiet triumph, is confidence being born. It is the physiological and psychological rewiring of your self-perception. So where do you begin this monumental task of building inner strength? Start with the absolute basics. Take care of your physical body. This is not vanity, it is a profound act of self-respect. How you treat yourself physically, your sleep, your nutrition, your movement, sets an unspoken but powerful precedent for how others will perceive and treat you. Stand tall when you walk into a room, even if your knees are trembling beneath you. Project an aura of presence. Speak clearly, with a steady voice, even if it quivers slightly at first. These physical manifestations of confidence send powerful signals both to yourself and to the world. And most importantly, this single piece of advice is paramount. Keep the promises you make to yourself. If you declare you are going to wake up early, then wake up early. If you commit to working out, then work out. If you promise to finish that project, then see it through to completion. Every single time you follow through on a commitment you have made to yourself, you send a powerful, undeniable internal message. I can trust me. This inner trust, this unwavering belief in your own word, is the bedrock of unshakable self-confidence. Without it, you are indeed building on sand, susceptible to every emotional gust and external doubt. Remember this too. Confidence grows fastest, not when you avoid discomfort, but when you actively lean into it. If something ignites a spark of fear within you, whether it is striking up a conversation with a stranger, speaking up in a high-stakes meeting, or putting your creative work out into the world, that fear is a signal. But it is not a signal to retreat or recoil. It is a clarion call to lean in, to engage, to confront. Fear, in many ways, is like a muscle. The more you challenge it, the weaker its grip becomes, and consequently, the stronger and more resilient you grow. Before long, the very situations that once made your palms sweat and your heart race will feel almost effortless, transformed into arenas for your quiet mastery. Here is a profound truth that most people miss entirely. Confidence is not the absence of fear. Reread that sentence. It is not about being fearless, or fear is a natural, often protective human emotion. Rather, confidence is the courageous decision to act despite the fear. Every single person feels nervous sometimes, even the most charismatic, the most successful, the most admired figures among us. The crucial difference is that they have rigorously trained themselves to move forward anyway, and each time they do, they expand the boundaries of what they believe is possible for themselves. Their world quite literally gets bigger, their comfort zone stretches, accommodating new challenges and new triumphs. Can you truly imagine what that would feel like? To walk into any situation, a critical job interview, a first date that holds immense potential, a room brimming with influential strangers, and feel genuinely at ease. Not because every trace of fear has vanished, but because you have proven to yourself, again and again, through countless small acts of courage, that you possess the inner fortitude to handle whatever unfolds. When you meticulously build this kind of unshakable self-confidence, everything else we will discuss in this audiobook becomes remarkably easier, more fluid, more natural. Your body language will spontaneously improve because you are no longer shrinking from the world. Your conversations will flow with greater ease because you are no longer overthinking every word, paralyzed by self-doubt. People will find themselves drawn to you without you having to frantically chase their approval, for they will sense something solid, something authentic, something deeply magnetic within you. So, this is where we begin. Invest in yourself first. Keep the promises you make. Face your fears, however small. Take action, even before you feel completely ready. Because the stronger, the more secure, the more aligned you are on the inside, the more magnetic, the more influential, and the more truly liberated you will become on the outside. This is not merely the first step to becoming charismatic. It is, without a doubt, the most important one. It is the genesis of your social freedom. Chapter 2. Understand people like an open book. If your desire is to genuinely connect with others, to wield influence ethically, and to forge relationships that are not merely superficial, but deeply meaningful and enduring, then you must first learn the profound art of understanding them. And I mean truly understanding them, not just hearing the literal words they utter, but discerning the unspoken sentiments, the hidden emotions, and the underlying motivations that lie beneath the surface. The vast majority of people traverse through life in a state of perpetual self-focus. Their minds are preoccupied with their own appearance, meticulously rehearsing their next remark, or anxiously wondering if they are being judged. This constant internal monologue, this relentless self-preoccupation, causes them to tragically miss the incessant, vital signals that other human beings are constantly emitting in every single moment of interaction. Here is a profound truth. Every person you encounter, without exception, is communicating something. This remains true even when their lips are sealed, even when they sit in complete silence. If you assiduously cultivate the ability to read these subtle signals, it is akin to suddenly gaining access to a secret language, a hidden lexicon that most people are entirely unaware of. You will cease to merely guess what someone feels or thinks. You will begin to know, and that prescient knowledge, that profound insight, changes absolutely everything. Consider social interactions as a grand game of chess, as often described by ancient strategists. The average player is solely fixated on their own next move, their own strategy, their own immediate advantage. They are thinking about what they will say, how they will respond, what impression they are endeavoring to make. But the true master, the one who can see the entire board, who can intuitively sense the emotional currents and anticipate the reactions of others, always holds an immense advantage. Not to exploit, mind you, but to connect more deeply, to navigate with greater wisdom, to lead with more profound understanding. And here lies the beautiful, almost paradoxical part. When people feel genuinely understood by you, they automatically feel connected to you. It is an almost involuntary, reflexive response. You do not have to laboriously work to earn their trust. You earn it simply by demonstrating that you truly see them. Has this ever happened to you? Someone listened to you, not just politely waiting for their turn to speak, but truly, actively heard you. And in that moment, you felt an immediate wave of warmth toward them, a profound sense of, this person truly gets me. That, my friend, is the transformative power of understanding others. And it is a gift you can meticulously learn to bestow upon every person you meet. The initial step in this profound endeavor is surprisingly simple, yet profoundly overlooked. Observe more than you speak. I know this sounds basic, almost elementary, but genuinely reflect on how rarely it is actually practiced. Most of us are so thoroughly engrossed in rehearsing our forthcoming sentence in our minds that we completely miss the rich unfolding drama that is transpiring directly in front of us. The next time you find yourself engaged in a conversation, consciously pause for a moment. Just watch. Notice the subtle ways the other person's body shifts as they articulate their thoughts. Do their shoulders imperceptibly tense when they mention a particular topic? Do their eyes illuminate with a rare spark when they speak of something they cherish? Do they lean forward, eager and engaged, or subtly pull back, signaling discomfort or reservation? These are not random gestures. These are clues. These are genuine, honest, unvarnished clues about what truly matters to them, about their inner world. You do not need to possess telepathic abilities or be a mystical mind reader. You simply need to cultivate the discipline to pay attention. And singular act already places you light years ahead of the vast majority of people in any social setting. Body language serves as an extraordinarily powerful window into another person's inner world. A clenched jaw might reveal a frustration they are meticulously withholding. A truly genuine smile extends beyond the mouth, reaching and crinkling the corners of the eyes. Crossed arms might signal defensiveness or a closed-off stance, but they might also simply indicate that someone is feeling cold. This distinction is critically important. Context is everything. You must never, ever rely on a solitary signal. Instead, you must diligently seek out patterns, a constellation of nonverbal cues. When a person's verbal expressions harmoniously align with their body language, they are, in all likelihood, being authentic and transparent. When a discernible mismatch occurs, that is your subtle signal to gently, always gently, probe deeper. However, understanding people transcends the mere reading of surface-level cues. It delves much, much deeper. It involves listening to the emotions that resonate beneath their spoken words. When someone complains incessantly about their demanding job, they might, in reality, be expressing a profound fear of not being valued, a deep-seated insecurity about their worth. When someone habitually brags about their accomplishments, they might be skillfully masking a painful vulnerability or an inherent lack of self-worth. Human beings are layered, complex, beautifully messy beings. The deeper you are willing to look, the clearer their true feelings, their authentic selves, will become. An incredibly simple, yet profoundly effective, method To achieve this is to ask gentle, open-ended questions and then, crucially, actually listen without interrupting. Do not, under any circumstances, plan your eloquent response while they are still speaking. Just be present with them, fully engaged. Most individuals are unaccustomed to being truly heard in this manner. Consequently, when you extend to them this rare and precious gift, they will often reveal far more than they ever intended. Not because you have subtly tricked or manipulated them, but because you have meticulously created an environment of trust and psychological safety, allowing them to finally be real. Here is something I implore you to truly internalize. People possess an innate, desperate craving to be seen and heard. It is unequivocally one of the deepest and most fundamental human needs we harbor. When you encounter someone who feels utterly invisible in their own life, perhaps they are routinely overlooked at work, or feel unheard in their familial relationships, and you make them feel genuinely, unequivocally understood, you forge a powerful bond, almost instantaneously. This phenomenon is precisely why certain individuals appear naturally charismatic. They have assiduously trained themselves to focus outwardly on others rather than solely on their own internal narrative. They consistently provide others with the invaluable experience of feeling valued. And that experience, I assure you, is truly unforgettable. Do you currently provide that profound gift to the people in your life? Or do you frequently find yourself subconsciously waiting for your opportune moment to speak? Another indispensable skill in this domain is empathy. Empathy is not merely sympathy. It is the profound ability to genuinely step into another person's perspective, to momentarily inhabit their emotional and cognitive landscape. You do not necessarily have to agree with their viewpoint. You do not even have to particularly like them. But when you make a conscious, concerted effort to perceive the world through their eyes, even for a fleeting moment, you gain invaluable insights that the casual observer will completely miss. For instance, if a colleague snaps at you, instead of reflexively retaliating, pause, consider the immense stress they might be currently enduring. Perhaps they are overwhelmed by personal issues or facing an impossible deadline. That understanding, that empathetic leap, empowers you to respond with grace and wisdom rather than impulsively adding fuel to an already smoldering fire. Naturally, a crucial balance must be maintained. Understanding people does not equate to allowing yourself to be taken advantage of or manipulated. Far from it. It is fundamentally about heightened awareness. When you can accurately and intuitively read a room, you simultaneously equip yourself with a powerful shield against those who may harbor hidden agendas. You see beyond the carefully constructed masks people often wear, which enables you to make wiser, more discerning choices at whom to trust and whom to maintain at a respectful distance. In this profound manner, social intelligence functions as both an exquisite tool for deep connection and an indispensable shield for your self-preservation. And here is a truly fascinating aspect. The more adept you become at understanding others, the deeper your understanding of yourself will naturally become. When you begin to consciously observe the emotional currents and behavioral patterns in others, you inevitably become more acutely aware of your own internal landscape. You notice your personal triggers, your ingrained defense mechanisms, your recurring behavioral patterns. Self-awareness and social awareness are not disparate entities. They are inextricably linked, two sides of the same profoundly important coin. The individual who truly understands others has almost invariably undertaken the deep, often challenging, work of understanding themselves first. So, let me pose this question to you once more. When was the last time you truly paid rapt attention to another human being? Not just their words, but their entire presence, their subtle energy, their nuanced body language, the profound emotion resonating beneath their sentences. Make a conscious effort to try it today. In your very next interaction, consciously shift your focus away from yourself and direct your full, unadulterated attention outward. You will be astonished by what you begin to notice. Things that have been present, right in front of you this entire time, skillfully hiding in plain sight. To truly understand others, you must also cultivate a willingness to temporarily set aside your own judgments. Every single person possesses a unique, intricate story, and more often than not, their outward behavior is a complex reflection of their internal struggles rather than a direct comment on you. When you approach people with an open heart and genuine curiosity, rather than reflexive criticism, you not only learn a tremendous amount about them, but you also undergo a significant personal growth yourself. Imagine the profound advantage of walking into any room and instantaneously sensing its emotional landscape. You discern who is genuinely confident and who is merely projecting an illusion. You pick up on who is uncomfortable, who is genuinely excited, who is meticulously concealing something. You catch the subtle, almost imperceptible shifts in energy that everyone else misses, and you adjust your approach accordingly, with an innate warmth and profound wisdom. This is not a supernatural gift. It is the direct result of disciplined attention, consistent practice of empathy, and a deep understanding of the unspoken rules of human behavior. When you assiduously develop this skill, your relationships will undergo a complete transformation. You will cease to feel like an outsider, and you will begin to feel like someone who inherently belongs, effortlessly, wherever you go. Therefore, make it your unwavering mission to become a devoted student of human nature. Watch, listen, and learn with an open mind and a curious heart. The more profoundly you understand others, the more effortless it becomes to connect, to influence, and to inspire. And it all commences with one simple yet monumental choice: seeing people clearly, and then, crucially, letting them know that you truly see them. Chapter 3. Master the Power of First Impressions. You have undoubtedly heard the adage countless times: you never get a second chance to make a first impression. As cliché as it might sound, this truth is absolutely foundational in the realm of social intelligence. Whether you are meeting someone for the very first time at a critical job interview, a high-stakes networking event, a casual social gathering, or even a fleeting encounter in a coffee shop, those initial few seconds, often startlingly brief, set the entire tone for how that person will perceive you. The scientific research on this phenomenon is, frankly, astounding. Studies reveal that people form opinions about you in less than 7 seconds. Sometimes it happens even faster. What this means is that before you even utter a single word, before you have a chance to present your meticulously crafted elevator pitch, the other person has already begun to decide whether you seem confident, trustworthy, approachable, or even worth their continued attention. It is a rather daunting thought, is not it? But here is the profoundly good news, and I want you to truly absorb this. You possess the innate power to control that crucial moment. You do not have to leave your first impression to the arbitrary whims of chance. You can, in fact, meticulously design it, intentionally and strategically. Here is the secret that most people tragically overlook. A truly great first impression is not about striving for some unattainable perfection. It is not about delivering the wittiest opening line, nor is it about donning the most expensive attire. It is, fundamentally, about intentionality. It is about consciously sending clear, authentic signals through your appearance, your body language, and your underlying energy. Think of yourself, for those critical initial moments as a walking, breathing message. Before you even open your mouth, your posture, your facial expression, the very manner in which you enter a room, all of these elements are telling a story. The only question that truly matters is, what story are you telling right now? The first, and arguably most potent, element of a truly powerful first impression is presence. By presence, I refer to that subtle, almost indefinable magnetic quality that makes people instinctively notice you. It is not about being flashy, loud, or overly ostentatious. It is about being fully, unequivocally, in the moment. Most individuals traverse through life perpetually distracted. Their minds are adrift, fixated, on their smartphones, their never-ending to-do lists, or that urgent text they need to send. You can instantly distinguish yourself and command attention simply by doing the exact opposite. Stand tall, pull your shoulders back with a sense of quiet strength. Keep your head held high. Take a slow, deep, rounding breath. Move with calm, unhurried confidence. This deceptively simple shift in how you physically carry yourself sends an unmistakable signal to everyone in your vicinity. This person is worthy of notice. This person belongs here. Have you ever observed someone enter a room and felt your gaze naturally, almost involuntarily, follow them? What was it about them? I venture to say it was not anything flashy or overtly attention-seeking. More likely, it was the quiet grace with which they moved, as if they were entirely at home in their own skin, perfectly comfortable in that space. That, my friend, is presence, and it is a quality you can meticulously cultivate. Now, let us address the undeniable reality of appearance. Like it or not, people will inevitably form judgments about you based on your visual presentation. This does not necessitate a wardrobe of designer clothes or the flawless complexion of a supermodel. It simply means cultivating a sense of pride in how you show up. Clean, well-fitting clothing, basic but impeccable grooming, and a touch of personal style that feels authentically you, not a costume, but a genuine expression of your inner self, go an extraordinarily long way. When you present yourself as someone who respects themselves, others are naturally more inclined to extend that same respect to you. Think of it as a form of visual communication. Your appearance is speaking volumes before you have even had the chance to utter a single word. Next, consider the precise moment of actual interaction. All initial words are undeniably important, but your body language, as we have discussed, is often even more so. Begin with your smile, and I mean a real smile. Not that tight, nervous, strained grimace most people adopt when they feel uncomfortable. A genuine smile, one that reaches your eyes, creates warmth and trust almost instantaneously. Couple this with steady, warm eye contact, not an aggressive stare, but a gaze that conveys genuine interest, as if the person you are speaking to is truly important, which they are. Your handshake, if the social situation calls for one, should be firm and confident, but never crushing or overly aggressive. These may seem like minuscule physical details, but collectively, they form the unspoken, potent foundation of human connection. People process all of this subconsciously within those critical first few seconds. Here is a powerful, almost magical little trick. Use people's names. When you meet someone new, naturally repeat their name back to them within the conversation. For example, "It is truly a pleasure to meet you, Sarah." It is so disarmingly simple, yet it instantly imbues the interaction with a sense of personal connection and authenticity. It signals that you are attentive, that you are present. And here is a small secret rooted in human psychology. People, without exception, adore the sound of their own name. It is quite literally one of the sweetest sounds in any language, a powerful affirmation of their individual existence. Another crucial element in crafting a strong first impression is your energy. People can literally feel your vibe before you ever utter a word. If you are carrying a burden of anxiety, chronic stress, or pervasive negativity, others will sense it, even if you are outwardly smiling. Conversely, if you enter a space radiating genuine warmth, calm confidence, and an open demeanor, they will instinctively feel that too. Your energy is profoundly contagious. It spreads to everyone around you, shaping the entire atmosphere. Therefore, here is a practice I personally adopt. Before any significant meeting or social event, I take a moment to deeply center myself. A few slow, deliberate breaths. I consciously visualize the type of positive interaction I wish to create. I intentionally choose the energy I want to bring into that space. It requires mere seconds, but its transformative impact is profound. But perhaps the most paramount insight regarding first impressions, and one that most people misinterpret, is this: a truly impactful first impression is not fundamentally about you. It is, at its core, about how you make the other person feel. If they walk away from meeting you thinking, "Wow, I felt genuinely good around that person," then you, my friend, have already achieved victory. You do not need to be the most impressive, the most dazzling, or the most verbose person in the room. You simply need to be the most genuinely interested. Ask thoughtful questions. Listen deeply with your entire being. Show authentic curiosity about who they are and what truly matters to them. When your focus shifts from trying to make yourself look good to genuinely making others feel valued, something beautiful and lasting unfolds. They will remember you for all the right reasons. Of course, it is vital to acknowledge that not every first impression will be flawlessly executed. You might stumble over your words, momentarily forget someone's name, or feel an awkward wave of self-consciousness wash over you, and that is entirely okay. What matters most is not perfection, but sincerity. People are far more forgiving than you often give them credit for, especially when they perceive a genuine, honest intention within you. Remember this foundational principle. Mastering the power of first impressions is akin to planting a precious seed. That initial moment of encounter sets the stage, determines the very soil for everything that will subsequently grow from it, be it a nascent friendship, a promising business partnership, or even a burgeoning romantic connection. So, treat every new encounter as a sacred opportunity. Enter with an aura of grounded presence, display genuine interest in the person before you, and strive to leave them feeling just a little bit better, a little more valued than they were before they met you. When you consistently cultivate and deliver these exceptional first impressions, something remarkable begins to happen. Doors that were once closed begin to swing open. Opportunities seem to materialize from unexpected quarters, and people will start to utter phrases like, "There is just something about them. I cannot quite put my finger on it, but I really like them." That's something is not magic or a stroke of genetic luck. It is intentionality. It is meticulous preparation. It is the profound result of consciously choosing to present your genuine, best self every single time. And when you master this invaluable skill, you will discover that influencing others and building deep, meaningful relationships becomes not just easier, but an innate, joyful, and liberating part of who you are. Chapter 4. Speak so people truly listen. Have you ever experienced a peculiar sensation of talking to someone and feeling as though your words were merely dissipating into thin air? like they were nodding along, perhaps even offering polite smiles, but nothing you said was actually sinking in. Their physical presence was undeniable, but their mind, their true attention, was clearly somewhere else entirely. This happens far more frequently than we care to admit. And honestly, it is not necessarily because people do not care. It is largely because most of us were never explicitly taught how to communicate in a way that truly lands. We learned grammar and vocabulary in school, certainly, but few, if any, ever instructed us on how to imbue our words with genuine impact and resonance. Speaking is not merely the act of generating sounds from your mouth. It is, at its core, about creating an experience. It is about forging a connection, an invisible bridge between your inner world and that of your listener. When you master this profound skill, people do not just hear you, they feel, they remember you. Your words linger with them, resonating long after the conversation has concluded. Here is a truth that might sting a little, but it is crucial for our understanding. Most people listen with the sole intent to respond, not with the genuine intent to understand. And similarly, most people speak primarily to be heard, rather than to truly connect. This fundamental misalignment is precisely why so many conversations often feel hollow, like two individuals performing separate monologues at each other, rather than engaging in a real, dynamic exchange with each other. If you aspire to stand out, if you genuinely wish for your words to penetrate and truly land, you must fundamentally alter your approach to communication. You must make every single word count, every utterance intentional. The first, indispensable element is clarity. If you want people to listen, you must make it effortlessly easy for them to follow your message. Resist the urge to ramble. Avoid the common pitfall of stuffing your sentences with overly complicated academic jargon simply to sound intelligent. Here is something that might surprise you. The most powerful communicators throughout history were often those who embraced simplicity. Reflect on the speeches that have stirred nations, inspired movements, and transcended generations. They were not replete with convoluted language or obscure terminology. They were clear, direct, and deeply, viscerally emotional. People remember what they can both easily understand and profoundly feel. Therefore, speak plainly, but infuse your plain words with an undeniable power and conviction. Do you ever catch yourself overcomplicating things when you speak? Using 10 words when 3 would convey the message more effectively? I confess, I used to do this constantly, mistakenly believing that more words equated to more impact. In reality, the opposite is often true. Next, consider your tone. This is an aspect that most people utterly underestimate. Your tone of voice is akin to the musical score beneath your words. It subtly instructs people on how to feel about what you are saying. You could articulate the most brilliant, insightful idea in the world, but if your voice is flat, monotone, and lifeless, that idea will fall flat, landing with a dull thud. Nobody will truly care. However, if you speak with genuine energy, natural warmth, and steady confidence, you breathe life into your words, animating them with emotion and purpose. This does not necessitate shouting or being overly dramatic. It simply means allowing your authentic passion and conviction to shine through. If you yourself do not sound genuinely excited or invested in what you are saying, why on earth should anyone else be? Then there is pacing. This is the element that often trips up countless individuals, particularly when nerves enter the equation. And when consumed by anxiety, our speech tends to accelerate, as if we fear someone might interrupt or cut us off before we complete our thought. But here is the critical consequence of rushing. It creates an unnecessary layer of stress, both for you and for your listener. They perceive your anxiety, and that makes it incredibly challenging for them to absorb and process your message. So, consciously slow down, breathe. And here is where the true magic resides. Utilize pauses, strategic silence. When you deliberately pause before or after an important point, you grant your words the necessary space to breathe, to settle, to truly land within the listener's mind. Think about music for a moment. A beautiful song is not solely defined by the notes. It is also shaped by the spaces between the notes, the rests, the silences. Masterful speakers employ pauses in precisely the same manner. They create rhythm, build anticipation, and allow their audience the precious time to genuinely feel and internalize what has just been communicated. Now let me introduce you to one of the most powerful communication tools known to humanity: storytelling. Facts merely inform people. Statistics, while valuable, primarily educate people. But stories possess the rare power to transform people. When you weave a narrative, you are not simply transmitting information. You are inviting your audience into a shared experience. You are evoking emotion, and emotion, above all else, is the primary driver of profound human connection. If your aim is to inspire someone to take decisive action, do not simply enumerate the steps they should follow. Instead, tell them a compelling story that makes them feel why that action matters. A vivid picture they can emotionally step into. Introduce them to characters they can relate to. Allow them to vicariously experience the struggle and the ultimate triumph. People may, and often do, forget the precise words you utter, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Has a story ever irrevocably altered your perspective, shifting your entire worldview? That, precisely, is the profound power I am referring to. Let me offer a simple framework for storytelling that is remarkably effective in almost any conversation. 1. Start with the struggle. Begin by describing a moment of tension, doubt, or difficulty. This immediately creates relatability. 2. Take your listener through the journey. Detail the choices made, the lessons learned, the turning points, the obstacles overcome. This builds engagement and suspense. 3. End with the transformation. Conclude by articulating what fundamentally changed, what was gained, what new possibilities emerged. It provides inspiration and a sense of resolution. People are instinctively drawn to this narrative arc because it mirrors the inherent struggles and triumphs of their own lives. We have all faced challenges, we have all grown, and we all harbor a profound hope for transformation. When your stories adhere to this pattern, they do not merely inform, they resonate on a deeply personal, often unforgettable level. Another quality that distinguishes truly great speakers is specificity. Vague, generalized statements tend to wash over people, leaving little impression. Specific, vivid details, however, stick. Do not merely say, "I had a tough experience." Instead, paint a scene. I remember sitting in my car at 11 p.m. in a deserted parking lot, staring at my phone, wrestling with the immense decision of whether to make the call that I knew would change absolutely everything. Do you perceive the palpable difference? Specificity conjures vivid, three-dimensional images in your listener's mind. It transports them, making your words far more impactful than a flat, generalized statement ever could. Here is another often missed point. Great speaking is not a one-sided monologue. Even in a private, one-on-one conversation, consciously pay attention to how the other person is responding. Are they leaning in, captivated? Are their eyes sparkling with interest, or are they beginning to glaze over? Learn to adjust your words, your tone, and your pacing in real time based on these subtle cues. This transforms a rigid lecture into a dynamic, living, breathing exchange. It makes the other person feel genuinely included, an active participant, rather than merely a passive recipient of your discourse. And listening. This might sound counterintuitive in a chapter about speaking, but listening is, in fact, an enormous and integral component of speaking well. The most effective communicators are almost invariably exceptional listeners. When you truly listen to someone, your subsequent responses become infinitely more meaningful, more targeted, and more relevant. People possess an uncanny ability to sense the difference between someone who speaks from a place of genuine understanding and someone who is simply biding their time, impatiently waiting for their turn to talk. This profound difference makes them far more inclined to listen with equal attentiveness when it is finally your turn to speak. The final, indispensable piece of this intricate puzzle is confidence. If you yourself do not profoundly believe in your own message, then unequivocally nobody else will either, and confidence in speaking does not necessitate perfection. It means being authentic, being grounded, and being fully present. It is perfectly acceptable to stumble over a word, or to momentarily lose your train of thought. What truly matters is that you continue without shrinking, without excessive apologizing, without losing your inner composure and presence. That kind of steady, unwavering confidence communicates an unmistakable message to your listener. This matters. Pay attention. Imagine this transformative scenario. You enter a room, you open your mouth to speak, and everyone, without conscious effort, naturally leans in. Not because you are the loudest voice, nor because you are the most polished orator, but because your words inherently carry genuine weight. Because you speak with such profound clarity, undeniable warmth, and an unwavering sense of purpose. That, my friend, is not a fanciful dream. That is a tangible skill, and it is entirely within your capacity to meticulously build it. It will undeniably require practice, sustained effort, and courage, but the rewards are truly enormous. When you master the art of speaking in such a way that people genuinely listen, you do not merely share ideas, you create impact. You influence decisions, you forge unbreakable trust, and you inspire profound change. So, the next time you prepare to open your mouth and speak, remember this crucial distinction. It is not just about talking, it is about forging connection. It is about providing your listener with a compelling, emotional reason to genuinely care. When you masterfully combine clarity, tone, pacing, the power of storytelling, and an unwavering confidence, you become unforgettable. And when people truly listen, with their minds and their hearts, that is precisely when your words acquire the power to transform, not just fleeting conversations, but entire lives. Chapter 5. The Art of Listening with Purpose. Let me ask you something profoundly uncomfortable, that I urge you to confront it with unflinching honesty. How often do you truly, genuinely, without a single mental reservation, listen to someone without simultaneously planning your response? Without subtly glancing at your phone, without mentally composing your grocery list, or silently critiquing what they are saying? Be honest with yourself. It is perfectly all right if the answer is not what you would ideally wish it to be. Here is the stark reality. Most people mistakenly believe they are adept listeners, but true listening, the kind that fundamentally transforms relationships, builds profound trust, and opens doors to genuine connection, is shockingly rare. And that, paradoxically, is precisely why it is such an extraordinarily powerful skill. When you master the art of listening with conscious, deliberate purpose, you instantly differentiate yourself from virtually everyone else. You become a rare individual whom people instinctively trust, deeply respect, and feel magnetically drawn to. Why? Because you offer them a gift that almost no one else in their lives provides: your full, undivided, present attention. Reflect on how most conversations typically unfold. They are often less a genuine exchange and more two individuals taking turns talking. Each person is subtly, or not so subtly, waiting for their opportune moment to interject, waiting to voice their opinion, to share their own anecdotal story, to proffer their unsolicited advice. This transactional dynamic at best fosters only superficial connections, but when you engage in the profound act of listening with true purpose, you delve infinitely deeper. You make the other person feel profoundly seen, genuinely heard, and deeply valued. And here is the undeniable consequence: when someone experiences that feeling, they bond with you. It is an almost involuntary, powerful human reflex. People may not recall every precise word you articulate, but they will absolutely, unequivocally, never forget how you made them feel. If you make them feel truly heard, you become an unforgettable presence in their lives. Listening with purpose is not a passive activity. Let me be unequivocally clear on that point. It is not merely sitting quietly with a blank, unengaged expression while someone else speaks. It is active. It is intentional. It demands your full, unwavering engagement, your entire being. You are not simply processing audible words. You are discerning the complex tapestry of emotions that lie beneath them. You are meticulously noticing the subtle hesitation in their voice, the almost imperceptible shift in their posture, the quiet sigh they attempt to conceal. These minuscule, often subconscious signals reveal far more about what someone is genuinely feeling than their spoken words ever could. Have you ever had someone declare, "I am fine," yet you intuitively felt, deep in your gut, that they were absolutely not fine? That, precisely, is the phenomenon I am referring to. Their words conveyed one message, but every other aspect of their presence communicated an entirely different, more authentic truth. The first, deceptively simple step to evolving into a truly exceptional listener is this: stop interrupting. I recognize this sounds elementary, but I challenge you to observe your own behavior in your very next conversation and discover how profoundly difficult it can actually be. Most of us interrupt because we are genuinely excited to share an idea, or because we mistakenly believe we already anticipate what the other person's about to say. However, every time you cut someone off, you transmit an unspoken, yet potent, message. What I have to say is inherently more important than what you are saying. Even if that is not your conscious intention, that is precisely what they will perceive and feel. Instead, cultivate the disciplined practice of silence. Allow people to articulate their full, complete thought without interjection. And here is a truly magical outcome that frequently occurs when you do this. Sometimes, after a brief, comfortable pause, they will delve even deeper. They will reveal something that they were not initially planning to share, simply because you provided them with the spacious, non-judgmental environment to arrive at that deeper truth. The second crucial step is to cultivate genuine curiosity. Ask open-ended questions, the kind that invite a person to elaborate, to share more than a mere yes or no answer. Instead of the perfunctory, "Did you have a good weekend?" try, "What was the most memorable part of your weekend?" Instead of the vague, "Are you okay?" try, "What has been weighing on your mind lately?" These types of questions function as invitations. They open doors to deeper, more authentic conversations where the other person feels inherently safe to fully express themselves. Here is a profound secret that continues to amaze me. When you genuinely listen, when you truly, deeply, and intently listen, people will reveal things to you that they did not even plan to share. Their aspirations, their deepest fears, their most profound motivations. They will open up in ways that may even surprise themselves. Not because you have subtly manipulated them, but because you have meticulously created a safe, trusting container for their vulnerability. That is an invaluable gift. And that gift constructs the kind of deep, abiding connection that most people spend their entire lives yearning for. Body language also plays an enormous, often underappreciated, role in purposeful listening. Lean in slightly when someone is speaking to you, conveying engagement. Maintain warm, steady eye contact, not an aggressive stare, but a gentle, connected gaze that communicates attentiveness. Nod naturally and occasionally to demonstrate that you are following their narrative. These subtle physical signals communicate to the speaker, "I am fully present with you. What you are saying holds immense value for me. However, and this is critically important, do not fake it." People possess an uncanny ability to detect insincerity. They will immediately sense when your interest is not genuine. Authenticity, in all aspects of communication, is paramount. If you are truly present and engaged, your body language will naturally, authentically, reflect it. Listening with purpose also entails attuning yourself to the words people do not say. Sometimes silence is exponentially more eloquent than any spoken word. If someone abruptly falls silent when a particular topic arises, or if their tone subtly shifts without warning, pay acute attention. That is frequently where the true, untold story lies concealed. You do not need to overtly call it out directly, but you can gently guide the conversation by saying something like, "You seem to pause there. Is there more you would like to share about that?" This demonstrates genuine care and provides a safe space for honesty to emerge. One of the greatest, most transformative benefits of purposeful listening is its remarkable ability to diffuse conflict. When individuals feel unheard, they become defensive. They entrench themselves in their positions. They fight harder. But when someone feels genuinely understood, even amidst a heated disagreement, the entire dynamic of the interaction undergoes a profound shift. You do not have to agree with someone to make them feel heard. Sometimes, merely uttering the phrase, "I can genuinely understand why you feel that way," can instantaneously lower the emotional temperature of an entire conversation, transforming it from a boiling tempest to a calm, manageable discussion. In a world that is growing increasingly louder, more distracted, and more fragmented with each passing day, the profound ability to truly listen has become nothing short of a superpower. While everyone else is clamoring, fighting to be heard, you quietly become the rare individual whom others instinctively seek out, the one they trust with their unfiltered thoughts, their deepest worries, their most audacious dreams. Over time, this meticulous practice builds deep, enduring relationships. People will come to perceive you not merely as a skilled conversationalist, but as someone who genuinely gets them, even when they struggle to articulate their own feelings. So, here is your personal challenge. In your very next conversation, commit to focusing completely, utterly, on the other person. Put away all distractions, your phone, your wandering thoughts. Resist the powerful urge to mentally rehearse your response while they are still speaking. Just be there, fully, completely. Listen, not solely to their words, but to the unspoken sentiments of their heart. It will feel different, precisely because it is different. And I promise you, once you experience the profound, transformative power of purposeful listening, you will never wish to revert to the superficiality of casual conversation. Remember this enduring truth. Talking may momentarily grab attention, but listening unfailingly earns respect. When you master the delicate art of listening with purpose, you do not merely communicate, You forge profound connection. You do not just exchange words, you build unbreakable trust. And that trust, my friends, is the indispensable foundation of every single meaningful relationship you will ever cultivate. It is the very essence of human liberty, the freedom to be truly seen and understood. Chapter 6. Use body language to command respect. Here is a thought that might just shift your perspective a little. Long before you utter a single word, long before you even consciously decide to open your mouth, your body is already engaged in a full, intricate conversation on your behalf. People are constantly reading you. Whether you consciously realize it or not, they are meticulously processing the way you stand, the nuances of how you move, the direction and duration of your gaze, even the fleeting micro-expressions that subtly flicker across your face. This profound phenomenon explains why walk into a room and instantaneously command everyone's attention, while others seem to quietly fade into the wallpaper, unnoticed, without ever saying a single thing. It is not magic, it is not some mystical aura, or an innate, unteachable charm. It is, quite simply, body language. And when you commit to learning and mastering this silent lexicon, you gain the extraordinary ability to project confidence, charisma, and a quiet, undeniable authority, all without ever needing to raise your voice or assert yourself verbally. But here is a crucial insight that most people overlook regarding body language, and it is truly important. It does not solely affect how others perceive you. It profoundly influences how you perceive yourself, and crucially, how you feel inside. The way you physically carry your body directly alters your internal state. If you allow your shoulders to slump, consistently avoid eye contact, and habitually make yourself physically small, you will, in fact, begin to feel small. Your confidence will quite literally shrink to match your posture. Conversely, if you consciously stand tall, open up your chest, and move through space with a clear sense of purpose, you will immediately feel more capable and self-assured. And others, I assure you, will sense that internal shift instantaneously. Has this ever happened to you? You might have been feeling low, perhaps even defeated, but then you consciously forced yourself to stand up straighter, to pull your shoulders back, and suddenly you felt a subtle but undeniable improvement in your mood and outlook. That was not your imagination. That was your body sending a powerful affirmative message to your brain. We are okay. We have got this. Scientists even have a specific term for this interconnected phenomenon: embodied cognition. It is the compelling idea that your physical state abruptly and significantly influences your mental and emotional state. Your body and mind are not separate, independent systems. They are profoundly interconnected. This means that one of the fastest, most direct shortcuts to transforming how you feel is to consciously alter how you physically hold your body. Stand like a person who embodies confidence, and your brain will begin to generate the very neurochemistry of confidence. Move like someone who is calm and in control, and your nervous system will actually begin to settle and regulate itself. This is why body language is far more than just a tool for impressing others. It is a potent instrument for transforming your own internal experience. You are not merely projecting confidence to the external world, you are meticulously building it from the inside out. Let us begin with posture, the fundamental bedrock of all effective body language. The moment you enter any room, people are already making instantaneous judgments about you, based solely on how you carry yourself. Shoulders back, head held high, feet planted firmly and confidently. Resist the urge to tightly cross your arms or hunch over as if attempting to disappear. An open posture unequivocally signals confidence, approachability, and a lack of defensiveness. A closed posture, conversely, transmits messages of insecurity, guardedness, or discomfort. When you stand tall, you are silently, yet powerfully, communicating, "I belong here, I am present, I have nothing to hide." That single simple adjustment can profoundly shift how others perceive and respond to you. First, eye contact is another extraordinarily powerful tool. It is, arguably, one of the fastest and most direct ways to either establish deep trust or inadvertently destroy it. Too little eye contact can make you appear insecure, shifty, or even dishonest. Conversely, an excessive, unwavering gaze can feel aggressive, intimidating, or deeply uncomfortable. The optimal balance lies in achieving natural, sustained, and warm eye contact. When you are speaking, maintain eye contact for a few seconds at a time, then allow your gaze to naturally, gracefully, drift away before returning. When you are listening, sustain a soft, steady eye contact to convey genuine attentiveness and engagement. Think of your eyes as a bridge, a direct conduit connecting you to the other person, fostering a sense of intimacy and trust that words alone cannot fully achieve. Your hands also communicate far more than you might realize. Nervous fidgeting, incessant finger tapping, playing with your hair, or picking at your nails send unmistakable signals of anxiety, internal unrest, or even boredom. Crossing your arms can make you appear closed off, defensive, or even dismissive. Instead, cultivate calm, deliberate gestures that gracefully complement and amplify your spoken words. Open hands with palms occasionally visible signal honesty, transparency, and openness. Even something as seemingly minor as keeping your hands relaxed at your sides, rather than jammed awkwardly into your pockets, projects an aura of greater confidence and trustworthiness. These are subtle details, perhaps, but they accumulate rapidly to form a powerful overall impression. Now, let us consider movement. The way you navigate through physical space communicates volumes about your internal state. Quick, jerky, rushed movements typically signal nervousness, agitation, or uncertainty. In stark contrast, slowed, deliberate, purposeful movement conveys calm, control, and composure. When you enter a room, avoid scurrying or rushing. Take your time. Move with the assuredness of someone who has a clear destination and is entirely unconcerned about getting there. Picture a highly respected leader walking to the front of a room to deliver an important speech. They do not scramble, they glide. They project a quiet, innate authority long before they utter a single word. Facial expressions are also in constant, active communication. A genuine, relaxed smile can immediately disarm tension, soften barriers, and make you instantly more likable and approachable. However, a forced, artificial, or fake smile is instantly discernible to most people and can actually generate distrust. The key is profound authenticity. Allow your facial expressions to naturally align with your genuine emotions. If you are genuinely pleased to see someone, allow that joy to radiate authentically. If you are listening intently, allow your face to reflect that sincere interest. Here is a crucial principle that synthesizes all of these elements. Your body language must match your words. 4. If you verbally declare, "I am incredibly excited about this idea," yet your voice remains flat and monotone, and your posture is slumped, no one will genuinely believe you. When your verbal message and your nonverbal signals are in harmonious alignment, you create a powerful aura of trust and credibility. When they contradict each other, people sense that something is amiss, even if they cannot precisely articulate what. This is precisely why accomplished communicators, influential leaders, and masterful public speakers Dedicate immense attention to their physical presence, because people, quite simply, believe what they see more than what they hear. There is also a subtle, yet incredibly effective technique known as mirroring, when executed naturally. When you subtly reflect someone's posture, gestures, or even their speaking pace, it creates a subconscious sense of connection and harmony. For instance, if they lean forward slightly, you might gently lean in a moment later. If they speak slowly and calmly, you subtly match that rhythm. This is not about robotic imitation. It is about creating a subtle sense of being in sync, a shared rhythm. When done authentically and naturally, the other person feels an inexplicable sense of comfort and understanding on a deeply subconscious level. But let me be unequivocally clear on one final point. Body language is not about performance or manipulative theatrics. It is fundamentally about alignment. It is about ensuring that your outer presentation is a true, authentic reflection of your inner state. If you are feigning confidence while internally crumbling with terror, people will eventually perceive the cracks in your facade. The true objective is to genuinely become the person your body language represents. Stand tall because you genuinely believe in yourself. Make eye contact because you authentically desire to connect. Smile because you truly wish to bring warmth and positivity to the interaction. When your inner state harmonizes seamlessly with your outer signals, people will profoundly feel it, and your presence will become an undeniable magnetic force. Mastering body language requires consistent practice. Start small. Consciously observe how you walk into a room. Pay diligent attention to your posture during conversations. Practice maintaining calm, steady eye contact. Over time, these deliberate practices will evolve into second nature, and you will be astonished by how differently people begin to treat you. They will respect your presence and your ideas. They will gravitate toward your energy. Your body communicates far more profoundly and loudly than anything your mouth will ever utter. When you learn to harness this silent language with wisdom and intentionality, you will never have to struggle or fight for respect. You will simply embody it. And that silent, powerful message will draw people to you like an irresistible magnet, granting you influence and respect long before you ever utter a single word. This is a profound aspect of self-mastery, granting you greater liberty and social engagement. Chapter 7. Build instant rapport with anyone. Have you ever experienced the truly remarkable phenomenon, meeting someone for the very first time, and within mere minutes, feeling an immediate sense of ease, as if you have known them for years? That instant warmth, that effortless connection, that feeling of, where have you been all my life? That, my friends, is called rapport. And here is what I want you to understand, profoundly and unequivocally. It is not random chance. It is not some mystical, unquantifiable chemistry. It is not simply luck. It is in its essence a skill, and it is one of the most invaluable skills you can ever cultivate in your life. Some individuals appear to be naturally gifted at making others feel instantly comfortable and connected. But upon closer observation, you will realize they are, consciously or unconsciously, employing specific behaviors and techniques. Whether they learned them through deliberate study or intuitively absorbed them over time, the good news is that these are entirely learnable skills. Once you master the principles of building rapport, you will possess the extraordinary ability to forge genuine trust and profound connection with almost anyone, in virtually any situation. Why does this particular skill matter so immensely? Because rapport is the indispensable foundation for all genuine influence. Without it, even your most brilliant ideas, your most compelling arguments, your most meticulously crafted solutions will fall flat, landing with a dull thud. You can possess the perfect strategy, the most insightful wisdom, but if people do not feel connected to you on a human level, they will not truly listen. They will not open up. They will not willingly follow your lead. On the inverse, when you possess true, authentic rapport, everything transforms. Doors that were once closed begin to open effortlessly. People lean in, eager to hear what you have to say. They want to help you, to collaborate with you, to simply be in your presence. That is the extraordinary power of this skill. So, how do you cultivate this instant rapport? It all begins with something deceptively simple, genuine interest. And I mean genuine, from the deepest core of your being. People possess an incredibly sensitive radar for insincerity. They can immediately sense when you are merely going through the motions, politely waiting for your turn to speak, or scanning the room for someone you deem more important or advantageous to engage with. If you genuinely desire someone to connect with you, you must first genuinely care about them, not as a calculated strategy, but as a fellow human being. Ask thoughtful, insightful questions. Then, truly, deeply listen to their answers. When someone feels that you are genuinely interested in who they are, in their story, they will instinctively feel a profound closeness to you. Has someone ever made you feel as though you were the only person in the entire room, commanding their complete, undivided attention? Recall how wonderfully good that felt. That, my friends, is the magnetic power of genuine interest. Another potent tool for cultivating rapport is the art of finding common ground. Human beings are profoundly wired to seek out similarities. We instinctively trust those who appear to be like us, and this does not necessitate sharing identical major life experiences. It could be something as seemingly trivial as a shared love for a particular type of coffee, having children of similar ages, growing up in similar neighborhoods, or even an enthusiastic interest in the same obscure hobby. When you uncover these small, yet significant points of connection, gently highlight them naturally within the flow of conversation. They serve as invisible bridges between you and the other person, instantly fostering a sense of comfort, familiarity, and mutual understanding. Mirroring is another subtle, yet remarkably effective, technique. This does not imply overtly copying someone's every move like a mimic. Instead, it involves gently reflecting their energy, their body language, and their speaking style. For instance, if they are calm and soft-spoken, you would not respond with loud, high-energy enthusiasm. Instead, you would subtly match their pace and tone. If they lean forward slightly while sharing something important, you might lean in subtly a moment later. If they use informal language, you might relax your own speech patterns a bit. This practice creates a subconscious sense of harmony, a feeling that you are on the same wavelength. However, and this is critically important, it must feel natural and authentic. If you overdo it or make it appear mechanical, it will quickly become awkward and unsettling. Think of it as gently tuning into their frequency, rather than crudely mimicking their every action. Names, never ever underestimate the profound power of someone's name. There is something almost magical, deeply personal, about hearing your own name spoken with sincerity. When you naturally incorporate someone's name into the conversation, without overusing it, it immediately makes the exchange feel more personal and intimate. For example, "That is a truly interesting perspective, Marcus," resonates far more deeply than a generic "that is interesting." It communicates that you are present, you are paying attention, and you perceive them as a unique individual, not just another face in the crowd. Now, here is a common mistake I observe. People making constantly when attempting to build rapport. They talk excessively about themselves. They launch it into lengthy anecdotes about their own accomplishments, recite their resume highlights, or attempt to impress with name-dropping and humble brags. However, this self-centered approach almost invariably backfires. Genuine connection does not stem from being impressive. It emanates from making the other person feel genuinely important and valued. Remember this golden rule. Be interested, not interesting. When you consciously shift the spotlight away from yourself and direct it onto the other person, when you make them the undisputed star of the conversation, they will walk away feeling profoundly good about the interaction, and by extension, feeling exceptionally good about you. Of course, it is paramount that rapport be built upon the bedrock of authenticity. You cannot, under any circumstances, forge a lasting, meaningful connection by pretending to be someone you are not, by facilely agreeing with every statement they make, or by performing a fabricated version of yourself. People will eventually see through such pretense, and when they do, any nascent trust will crumble irrevocably. Therefore, be your true self. Be honest. You can absolutely disagree with someone without being disagreeable or confrontational. In fact, a respectful, well-articulated difference of opinion can actually strengthen rapport because it unequivocally demonstrates that you are being genuine and operating with integrity. Here is a practical tip you can implement immediately. Give people small wins within the conversation. Offer a sincere, heartfelt compliment. Acknowledge and validate their perspective. Thank them for sharing something personal or vulnerable. These small, micro moments of validation make people feel profoundly valued. And when someone feels valued, they are far more inclined to open up, to trust you more deeply, and to let down their guard. The wall, as it were, begins to dissolve. Rapport also deepens through consistent follow-through. If you tell someone you will send them an article, send it. If you promise to make an introduction to a valuable contact, do it. If you recall a specific detail they shared, their child's name, their upcoming travel plans, a project they were anxious about, bring it up naturally the next time you interact. Reliability builds trust faster than almost any other quality. In a world increasingly populated by flaky individuals and broken promises, being someone who consistently follows through makes you a rare and immensely valuable individual. Finally, remember that rapport is not a one-time event or a checkbox on a list. It is a living, breathing entity that grows and deepens over time. Your initial interaction is merely the planting of a seed. Every subsequent conversation, every thoughtful gesture, every moment of genuine interest, these are the metaphorical water and sunlight. Over time, that seed will blossom into a strong, resilient, and lasting relationship. Imagine being able to walk into any room, meet any stranger, and within minutes, feel that invisible thread of connection gently pulling you together. That is the transformative power of rapport. When you master it, people will not only enjoy being in your presence, they will trust you, confide in you, and genuinely desire to support and be influenced by you. And that, my friends, is when social intelligence begins to feel almost magical, a true manifestation of personal liberty in your interactions. Building instant rapport is not about trickery or manipulation. It is not about employing some superficial charm, offensive. It is simply about showing up fully with genuine care, undivided attention, and an authentic desire to understand another human being. Do that consistently, and true connection will cease to be something you desperately chase. It will become something that flows naturally, effortlessly, and abundantly to you. Think about your closest relationships right now, the ones that feel most effortless, most natural, most nourishing to your soul. I would wager that those relationships did not commence to the calculated pitch or a strategic maneuver. They began with a moment of genuine connection, a shared laugh, a vulnerable confession, a profound feeling of being truly seen. That, in its purest form, is rapport. And you possess the inherent capacity to create more of it with anyone, anywhere, once you grasp the simple, yet profound, principles underpinning it. So, here is a small, actionable challenge for you. In your next social encounter, whether it is with a colleague, a stranger in line, or an old friend, try one thing differently. Ask a genuinely insightful question. Listen with your full, unadulterated attention. Use their name with sincerity. Identify one authentic point of commonality you share. Just one interaction, executed with full presence and genuine care. Observe what unfolds. I believe you would be profoundly surprised by how quickly that invisible thread of connection manifests itself. Chapter 8. Handle criticism and conflict gracefully. Let me share a truth with you that nobody particularly enjoys hearing. No matter how charismatic, how kind, or how meticulously skilled you become, there is one thing you simply cannot avoid in life: criticism. People will misunderstand you. They will invariably disagree with you. And sometimes they will even attack you in ways that feel profoundly unfair and deeply personal. It is not merely a possibility, it is an absolute guarantee. And here is what separates the individuals who truly thrive and ascend from those who become perpetually stuck or defeated. It is not whether they encounter criticism, everyone does. It is rather how they choose to respond when it inevitably arises. Anyone can exude charm and confidence when the room is overflowing with compliments and affirmation. But the genuine test, the pivotal moment that unveils your true character and the depth of your social intelligence, comes when someone dares to challenge you, to question your decisions, or to cast doubt upon your actions. When the heat is on, that precise moment is where your influence is either meticulously built or irrevocably destroyed. Have you ever been subjected to criticism and felt that immediate, hot, prickly wave of defensiveness surge through your body? That instinctive, almost primal urge to immediately fight back, to justify yourself, to prove them unequivocally wrong. Of course you have. We all have. It is one of the most fundamental, natural human reactions. But here is the critical insight. That knee-jerk reaction, that impulsive retort, almost invariably exacerbates the situation. It escalates tension. It closes doors to dialogue. It transforms what could have been a productive, insightful conversation into an emotional battleground. Therefore, the first fundamental rule of handling criticism with grace is deceptively simple, yet profoundly challenging. Do not take it personally, at least not right away. I recognize that this sounds almost impossible, particularly when the criticism feels intensely personal and deeply unjust. But here is what I have learned through countless experiences. Most criticism is not, in its deepest essence, truly about you at all. It is, more often than not, a reflection of the other person's perspective, their current mood, their underlying stress levels, or even their own unresolved insecurities. Sometimes, what manifests as a direct personal attack is merely someone projecting their own accumulated frustrations and internal turmoil onto the nearest available target. Once you have paused, and that pause, the brief moment of intentional silence, is absolutely everything, listen with profound care to what is actually being articulated. Meticulously separate the core message from the raw emotion in which it is often wrapped. The individual might be delivering their feedback with anger, with negativity, or with a dismissive tone, but buried deep within their words could be a genuine, valuable insight. a lesson that holds the key to your personal and professional growth. Even the harshest criticism can contain a tiny, precious kernel of truth. If that truth is genuinely present, possess the courage and humility to accept it. And if, after careful consideration, there is genuinely no truth to be found, then you are empowered to release it, allowing it to pass through harmlessly, without permitting it to poison your inner peace or mindset. Here is a personal practice I employ. I mentally ask myself, is there even 1% of truth in what they are saying? If I can discern even a minuscule fraction of truth, I endeavor to extract that lesson and integrate it. If there is genuinely nothing, I allow the criticism to flow through me like wind through a screen door, leaving no lasting trace. When you respond to criticism, your tone is paramount, often more significant than the precise words you choose. If you react with defensiveness, the other person will instinctively feel attacked, and they will invariably double down on their position. The entire exchange will escalate into an unproductive conflict. However, if you respond with genuine, unwavering calmness, not a passive-aggressive coldness, but a sincere, grounded composure, you completely disarm the situation. Simple, non-confrontational phrases like, "I genuinely appreciate you sharing that with me," or "I can certainly see where you are coming from," can instantaneously lower the emotional temperature of the conversation. And critically observe that these phrases do not imply agreement. They merely signal that you are open to constructive dialogue, rather than an adversarial fight. Here is a particularly powerful maneuver. Ask questions instead of solely making statements. When someone criticizes you, try a phrase like, "Can you help me understand more precisely what you mean?" Or, "What specific outcome would you like to see handled differently?" This expertly shifts the entire energy of the interaction, from blame and accusation to collaborative problem-solving. It unequivocally signals maturity, emotional control, and a desire for resolution. And honestly, it often catches most people completely off guard, in the most positive way. They are so accustomed to arguments spiraling into chaos that when you maintain composure and curiosity, the entire dynamic is fundamentally transformed. Conflict operates on similar principles. It is an unavoidable aspect of human existence. It will inevitably occur in your professional career, within your family, and among your friendships. The pertinent question is not how to meticulously avoid it, but rather how to navigate it with profound wisdom and grace. And here is a perspective shift that profoundly altered my approach. Offset, healthy conflict can actually strengthen relationships. It serves as a catalyst, forcing crucial issues to the surface where they can finally be openly acknowledged and effectively addressed. The true danger is not conflict itself, but when conflict degenerates into a naked power struggle, a personal attack, or a destructive competition to inflict maximum harm. One of the most sagacious strategies in any conflict is to consciously shift the focus from me versus you to us versus the problem. Instead of rigidly arguing your own position, try articulating something like, "We both undoubtedly desire for this project to succeed. Let us collaboratively figure out the optimal path to make that happen." That single sentence possesses the extraordinary power to reframe an adversarial discussion into a collaborative, solution-oriented endeavor. Empathy is your indispensable secret weapon in these situations. When someone is visibly upset, there is invariably an underlying emotion driving their behavior, be it fear, profound frustration, a feeling of being undervalued, or a sense of being unheard. If you can accurately identify and sincerely acknowledge that deeper emotion, you will dissolve a substantial portion of the tension. Phrases such as, "I can genuinely tell that this issue is incredibly important to you," or "I completely understand why you would feel that particular way," are not weak or capitulating statements. They are, in fact, incredibly powerful because they demonstrate that you care about the individual as a human being, not solely about winning the argument. This builds trust, even amidst profound disagreement. Yes, there will undeniably be occasions when someone is simply being unreasonable, irrational, or even overtly toxic. In those specific circumstances, the most graceful and self-preserving move might be to disengage entirely. You do not have to triumph in every single battle. Walking away from an unwinnable, destructive conflict is not a sign of weakness. It is, rather, an act of profound wisdom. Protect your precious energy by judiciously choosing your battles. Consistently handling criticism and conflict with grace does not merely simplify your life, it profoundly elevates your reputation. People will begin to perceive you as someone who maintains composure under immense pressure, an individual capable of navigating treacherous situations with sagacity and emotional fortitude. This particular brand of emotional control is powerfully magnetic. It compels others to desire to follow your lead because they implicitly trust that you will not lose your composure or unravel when circumstances become challenging. Imagine this scenario. You are in a heated meeting. Voices are escalating. Emotions are running high, and everyone is palpably on edge. While others are reacting impulsively and emotionally, you remain composed, centered, and thoughtful. You listen attentively, speak with measured consideration, and gently guide the group towards a constructive solution. That kind of presence does not merely resolve the immediate issue, it earns you profound, lasting respect. People will remember how you conducted yourself long after they forget the specific details of the conflict itself. Here is the undeniable bottom line. Criticism and conflict are inherent, unavoidable aspects of the human condition. You cannot control what others choose to say or do, but you possess absolute control over your response. When you choose to respond with grace instead of aggression, with patience instead of impulsive rage, you possess the extraordinary power to transform potential adversaries into allies and daunting challenges into profound opportunities for growth. This, truly, is what differentiates an individual who merely survives social situations from one who profoundly masters them. Be the calm center in the storm, and you will discover that even the most arduous moments can become powerful stepping stones to greater influence, deeper respect, and a profound sense of inner liberty. Chapter 9. Influence without manipulation. Influence is a force of immense power. It is the profound ability to subtly guide people's thoughts, to shake their fallings, and to inspire their actions. When wielded with integrity and purpose, it can galvanize teams, strengthen the bonds of relationships, and catalyze truly positive, meaningful change. However, when influence is abused, when it devolves into manipulation, it can irrevocably destroy trust, leaving behind a bitter, lingering trail of resentment and distrust. The fundamental distinction between a true leader and a cunning manipulator boils down to one singular, crucial factor: intent. True, ethical influence is never about tricking people into doing what you want for your own self-serving gain. It is rather about genuinely inspiring them to desire what is inherently good for them and, by extension, for everyone involved. It is about creating a shared vision, a common purpose that resonates with their own values and aspirations. Many individuals mistakenly believe that influence necessitates possessing a silver tongue, an innate charisma, or some obscure psychological trick. They conjure images of slick, smooth-talking individuals who effortlessly manipulate situations to always get their way. But real, lasting influence is far quieter, far more subtle than that. It does not rely on coercion, pressure, or deceptive tactics. Instead, it emanates from the very core of who you are, how you consistently show up in the world, and the bedrock of trust you have painstakingly built over time. People do not follow someone because they are forced or tricked into it. They follow because they choose to. And that choice, that voluntary allegiance, stems from one deeply human source: genuine respect. The indispensable first step to influencing without manipulation is the meticulous cultivation of credibility. If people do not trust you unequivocally, then nothing you say will ever truly land. Period. You could deliver the most persuasive, logical presentation in history, and it will be utterly meaningless if your audience does not believe in your honesty and integrity. Trust is not a commodity that can be rushed or feigned. It grows slowly, steadily, painstakingly, through consistent, transparent actions. When you consistently honor your word, when you unfailingly do what you say you will do, when you act with unwavering honesty and integrity, even when it is inconvenient or challenging, people begin to perceive you as reliable and trustworthy. And reliability, my friends, is quietly magnetic. It naturally opens others to your ideas because they intrinsically believe that you genuinely have their best interests at heart. Without trust, influence degenerates into coercion. With trust, influence becomes effortless, a natural flow. Next, prioritize understanding before persuading. This is where most people fundamentally reverse the process. They prematurely push their own agenda, vigorously argue their position, and attempt to convince others before they have taken the crucial time to truly understand those others' needs, their deeply held fears, and their underlying motivations. If you genuinely desire someone to follow your lead, you must first make a conscious, empathetic effort to step into their world, listen intently to their concerns, ask open, probing questions, demonstrate genuine empathy for their predicament. When people feel profoundly understood by you, they become infinitely more receptive to hearing and considering your perspective. In fact, sometimes the sheer experience of being deeply understood is sufficient to shift someone's entire mindset without you having to sell them on anything at all. Have you ever experienced a change of heart about something? Not because someone argued you into submission, but because they first made you feel truly heard and validated. That precisely is influence in its purest, most ethical form. Another cornerstone of ethical influence is the creation of alignment, aligning your goals with theirs. Manipulators inherently operate from a zero-sum mentality. They attempt to win at someone else's expense. True influencers, conversely, are masters of creating win-win outcomes. They demonstrate to people how their idea, their vision, or their proposed action benefits everyone, not just themselves. For example, if you are leading a team in a professional setting, do not merely articulate what you need from them. Instead, illustrate how the project will inherently advance their careers, facilitate their personal growth, or align with their vision for success. People are exponentially more motivated and engaged when they can clearly perceive how their personal aspirations and goals fit harmoniously into the larger collective picture. One of the most powerful, yet frequently overlooked, tools of influence is leading by example. Words, as we know, are cheap. Everyone can articulate a grand vision or make lofty promises. But actions are what truly inspire. If you desire others to demonstrate unwavering positivity, then you must embody positivity yourself. If you wish for a friend to overcome a detrimental habit, then you must exemplify discipline and self-mastery in your own life. Influence is not about dictating behavior. It is about showing people what is authentically possible. When others observe you living your message, not merely preaching it, they are naturally inclined to follow. That is not manipulation. That is pure inspiration. Your tone also carries immense weight. The manner in which you deliver your message often matters more than the intrinsic content of the message itself. Speak with calm, grounded confidence, not with frantic urgency or forceful demands. Assiduously avoid using fear, work, or shame as tools to achieve your objectives. Such tactics may yield temporary compliance, but they invariably inflict lasting damage on trust and relationships. Instead, consciously focus on uplifting, empowering language. Paint a vivid, compelling picture of what is truly possible. Help people to envision a better, brighter future. When someone feels genuine hope and excitement, they are exponentially more likely to take proactive action than when they feel cornered, pressured, or shamed. And here is something that many people tend to forget. Influence is inherently a two-way street. It is not solely about unilaterally changing others. It is also about being genuinely open to being changed yourself. When you demonstrate a sincere willingness to consider and integrate other perspectives, you cultivate mutual respect. That profound respect, in turn, amplifies your influence because people perceive you as fair, humble, and open-minded, rather than rigid and controlling. Of course, there will inevitably be times when someone resists your influence, regardless of how kind, respectful, or well-intentioned you are. And that, my friends, is perfectly acceptable. In fact, it is more than acceptable. It is their inherent right. Influence is not about coercing or forcing predetermined outcomes. Sometimes, the most powerful and strategic move you can make is to plant a seed of an idea and then gracefully walk away. You share your perspective with honesty and genuine care, and then you release your attachment to the immediate outcome. You may not witness immediate results, but your words and actions can quietly reside within someone, subtly working in the background until they are internally ready to embrace the next step on their own terms. The true beauty of influence without manipulation is that it strengthens relationships rather than draining them. People will actively seek out your guidance, not because they fear you, but because they profoundly trust you. Over time, you will meticulously build a reputation as someone who elevates others, who inspires growth, and who collaboratively moves forward with integrity. That kind of reputation is utterly priceless. It opens doors you did not even realize existed, paving the way for profound personal liberty and collective advancement. Reflect on the individuals who have had the most profound, positive influence in your own life. Chances are, they did not push you, nor did they pressure you with aggressive tactics. They inspired you. They believed in your potential, sometimes even before you believed in yourself. They guided you through their actions, their unwavering integrity, and their genuine, discernible care for your well-being. That precisely is the kind of influencer you aspire to become. Someone who creates positive change through the enduring power of trust, respect, and authentic human care. When you steadfastly focus on understanding others, aligning your goals with theirs, leading powerfully by example, and communicating with unwavering integrity, you will have no need for manipulative tricks or coercive tactics. Your influence will flow naturally, effortlessly, and authentically, and the most remarkable aspect of this approach is that it will last. Because while manipulation might secure a fleeting moment of compliance, true Ethical influence wins a lifetime of unwavering trust and profound respect. Chapter 10. Network. Like a natural leader. When most people encounter the word networking, what is the immediate image that flashes into their minds? Likely it is some awkward hotel conference room, populated by strangers exchanging business cards with forced smiles and rehearsed elevator pitches. It often feels transactional, superficial, and frankly, a bit disingenuous. And honestly, that is precisely why so many individuals actively shy away from it. But here is the crucial insight. What most people mistakenly label as networking is not, in its truest form, networking at all. Real networking has absolutely nothing to do with indiscriminately collecting contacts or working a room with a purely self-serving agenda. It is at its profound core about building genuine human connections. It is about meticulously cultivating a circle of individuals who genuinely know you, who implicitly trust you, who deeply respect you, and who unequivocally desire to see you succeed. When you master the art of networking like a natural, authentic leader, opportunities do not merely happen by chance. They actively find you consistently and almost effortlessly because people are deliberately thinking of you and enthusiastically opening doors on your behalf. Does that sound too idealistic, too good to be true? I assure you it is not, but it necessitates a fundamental, paradigm-shifting change in how you conceptualize connecting with others. The shift is this: stop thinking about what you can get. Start thinking about what you can give. Most individuals approach every new connection with an inherent me-first lens. Their internal monologue is dominated by questions like, how can this person help me? What is in it for me? How can they advance my career or my agenda? And people, I assure you, sense that self-serving energy immediately. It naturally triggers a desire to pull away, to erect barriers, rather than to lean in and connect. True leaders, however, completely invert that script. They walk into every interaction with a profound mindset of generosity, actively asking themselves, how can I genuinely add value to this person's life? How can I help them? What do I have to offer, even if it is a seemingly small gesture? When you lead with genuine generosity and a giving spirit, something truly remarkable occurs. People naturally feel an innate desire to reciprocate. It is deeply wired into the fabric of human nature. We are compelled to return kindness. We vividly remember those who helped us, genuinely and selflessly, without any explicit expectation of return. Begin by cultivating genuine curiosity about others. When you meet someone new, consciously resist the impulsive urge to immediately launch into a monologue about your own achievements and accolades. Instead, inquire about their story. What are they truly excited about at this particular moment in their lives? What challenges are they currently navigating? What audacious dream are they relentlessly pursuing? Most people rarely, if ever, get the opportunity to discuss what genuinely matters to them in a meaningful way. When you create that rare, safe space for them to do so, you forge a bond that transcends any superficial business card exchange. And here is the practical benefit of this approach. The more you authentically learn about someone, the more effortlessly we will discover concrete ways to support them. Perhaps you know someone they should meet, or you recently read an article perfectly pertinent to their situation. These small, thoughtful gestures meticulously build trust with astonishing speed. Authenticity is absolutely non-negotiable in effective networking. People possess an innate ability to sense when you are performing a role, when you are putting on a carefully constructed facade. You do not need to be flawlessly polished or impeccably perfect. You simply need to be real. Share your triumphs, yes, but also share your struggles. Be honest about your journey, your challenges, your imperfections. Vulnerability, far from being a weakness, actually creates profound connection because it makes you relatable, profoundly human. When someone perceives you as a real person, not just a title on a business card or a pristine LinkedIn profile, they feel safe enough to connect with you on a much deeper, more authentic level. Here is a strategy that distinguishes truly exceptional networkers from average ones. They follow up consistently. Talking someone once does not build a lasting relationship any more than watering a plant once ensures its long-term survival. Relationships flourish through consistent, genuine touch points. After meeting someone, send a brief, sincere message, not a sales pitch, but a simple, human acknowledgement. I genuinely enjoyed our conversation about specific topic. Then, a few weeks later, proactively check in, share something relevant you encountered, ask how that project they mentioned is progressing, or simply say, I thought of you when I saw this. These consistent, thoughtful gestures keep the connection vibrant and alive, without ever feeling forced, transactional, or burdensome. At networking events and social gatherings, prioritize quality over quantity. It is infinitely more valuable to have 3 genuine, memorable conversations than to engage in 30 superficial, forgettable ones. The objective is not to meet as many people as humanly possible. It is to truly connect with the individuals you do encounter. When you leave an interaction with a real, empathetic understanding of who someone is and what truly matters to them, they will remember you. And crucially, they will actively desire to stay in touch. One of the most powerful, yet frequently overlooked, networking strategies is the act of connecting others. When you proactively introduce 2 people who could genuinely benefit from knowing each other, you instantaneously elevate your value in both their eyes. You transcend the role of merely someone they met. You become a connector, a facilitator, someone who actively creates opportunities for others. This positions you as a leader, even in the absence of any formal title or hierarchical authority. The more you generously give in this manner, the more your network transforms from a static list of contacts into a dynamic, thriving ecosystem of mutual trust and goodwill. Building a robust network also inherently involves being selective. Not every relationship warrants your precious time and energy. Some individuals are perpetual takers, without ever reciprocating. Others drain your energy with constant negativity and drama. Pay close attention to how you feel after interacting with someone. If you consistently feel depleted, uneasy, or diminished, it might be a wise decision to create some healthy distance. Protect your energy. Deliberately surround yourself with individuals who challenge you to grow, who genuinely support your aspirations, and who inspire you to become a better version of yourself. And yes, in our increasingly digital age, your online presence is an undeniable extension of your network. Social media, when utilized with conscious intention, can be a potent networking tool. But do not simply post highlight reels of your own life. Instead, share genuinely valuable insights, generously celebrate other people's achievements, and actively engage in meaningful, substantive conversations, not just superficial comments. When you consistently present yourself online, someone who genuinely brings value to discussions, people will be naturally drawn to you, both in the digital realm and in real life. Think of your online presence as a consistent, authentic projection of your real-world persona. Remember this profound truth. Networking is fundamentally a long game. Connections you diligently invest in today might not yield immediate, tangible results for months or even years, and that is perfectly acceptable. Focus on planting seeds, not on immediately harvesting crops. Cultivate patience. Be consistently present. Be genuinely generous. Every authentic conversation, every thoughtful follow-up, every connection you meticulously nurture adds another crucial brick to the foundation of your future success. Imagine possessing a network brimming with individuals who genuinely root for you, who recommend you without prompting, who open doors you did not even know existed, simply because they implicitly believe in you and your character. That is precisely what unfolds when you network like a true leader. You cease to chase opportunities. Instead, they gravitate towards you, carried by the strength and authenticity of the relationships you have painstakingly built. So, the next time you encounter someone new, internalize this simple, yet powerful, rule. Do not obsess about what you can get. Instead, focus intently on what you can give. Lead with generosity. Lead with genuine curiosity. Lead with unwavering realness. And observe the profound transformation that occurs. You will discover that the most truly successful people in life, those with the greatest opportunities, the deepest relationships, the most fulfilling careers, are not the ones who network the hardest or the loudest. They are the ones who cared the most. They meticulously built their network on an unshakable foundation of genuine human connection. And that foundation, built on trust and authenticity, will endure through every season of your life, a true testament to your social liberty. Your network is not merely a professional tool. It is a profound reflection of who you are and how you choose to show up in the world. Build it with intention, build it with heart, and it will, without doubt, become one of the most invaluable assets you will ever possess. Not primarily for what it can get you, but for the incredible people you will have the privilege of walking through life alongside. Chapter 11. Win people over with authenticity. In a world absolutely inundated with filters, carefully curated highlight reels, and meticulously constructed versions of reality, authenticity stands out like a luminous lighthouse in a tumultuous storm. People, quite frankly, are exhausted. They are weary of being relentlessly sold to, ceaselessly marketed at, and constantly fed polished, often fabricated, images that bear little resemblance to genuine reality. They possess a profound, innate craving for something real, someone real. And here lies the exquisite beauty of this truth. Being authentic does not merely make you likable. It makes you profoundly magnetic. It draws people towards you naturally, effortlessly, without games, without pretense, without the need for convoluted strategies. When you courageously show up as your true, unvarnished self, not the carefully constructed version you believe others desire to see, you instantly cease to chase anyone's attention. You earn it. Simply by being genuine in a world that is perpetually performing, you become a rare and precious commodity. But let us be completely honest with each other. Being authentic is not always easy, is it? Society exerts immense, constant pressure on us to conform, to fit into predefined molds, to play specific roles, to smooth over our rough edges, and to painstakingly conceal the parts of ourselves that feel vulnerable, unconventional, or too much. Perhaps you, like many others, have caught yourself articulating what you perceived someone wanted to hear, rather than bravely speaking what you genuinely believed. Or perhaps you have consciously muted your personality in a group setting, out of an underlying fear of being judged or rejected. We have all, without exception, fallen prey to these tendencies. The fundamental problem with this approach is that when you are not being genuinely real, people can instinctively spiel it. They may not be able to precisely articulate what feels amiss, but something within the interaction will feel subtly off, like a musical instrument that is almost perfectly in tune, but not quite. That subtle misalignment, that lack of congruity, between your inner and outer self relentlessly erodes trust. It tragically prevents real, deep connection from ever truly forming. People might intellectually appreciate your performance, but they will never genuinely connect with it because it is not truly you. Have you ever spent time with someone and walked away feeling strangely, inexplicably exhausted? Not because the conversation was intellectually demanding or emotionally profound, but because you were, in essence, performing the entire time, meticulously monitoring every word, painstakingly managing every impression. That pervasive exhaustion, my friends, is the direct cost of inauthenticity. It drains your vital energy and simultaneously deprives others of the genuine connection they were implicitly hoping for. Authenticity begins at its very core with self-acceptance. You cannot possibly be truly real with others if you are perpetually at war with yourself, constantly battling your own perceived flaws and imperfections. And let us be clear, self-acceptance does not imply that you cease to grow or stop striving for improvement. Rather, it means you courageously own where you are right now, honestly, completely, without apology. It means acknowledging your strengths without false modesty, and simultaneously acknowledging your weaknesses without shame or self-flagellation. When you fully and unconditionally accept yourself, you radiate a quiet, grounded confidence that others find profoundly attractive. They are instinctively drawn to individuals who are comfortable in their own skin, because consciously or unconsciously, it grants them permission to be comfortable in theirs. Wow. The next crucial step is cultivating the ability to speak your truth with kindness. Authenticity is never an excuse for brutality. Being just honest is not a license to be hurtful, dismissive, or cruel. Real authenticity means expressing your genuine thoughts and feelings openly and transparently, while simultaneously maintaining profound respect for the other person's humanity. If you find yourself disagreeing with someone, you do not need to launch an attack on their position. You can simply, calmly, and respectfully state, "I perceive this a little differently," and then articulate your perspective with composure and clarity. People may not always agree with your viewpoint, but they will invariably respect your courage, your clarity, and your unwavering integrity. Here is something profoundly counterintuitive about being authentic. It does not repel people. Rather, it acts as a powerful magnet, attracting the right people into your life. When you are genuinely yourself, you naturally, almost effortlessly, filter out the relationships that are not a good fit for your true self. And that, I assure you, is an incredibly positive outcome. Yes, some individuals will simply not vibe with the real you, and that is perfectly, gloriously okay, more than okay. In fact, it signifies that you are no longer squandering your precious energy, contorting yourself into unnatural shapes to please everyone. You are actively creating sacred space or connections built on genuine alignment, the kind that truly nourishes your soul. Would you rather be superficially liked for a meticulously crafted mask you wear every single day, or profoundly loved for who you authentically are? I believe deep down, every single one of us knows the answer to that question. We all yearned to be loved for our true selves. And yet, so many of us spend years, sometimes even decades, performing, wearing emotionally armor, presenting the world with a carefully edited version of ourselves, while the real, vulnerable person hides behind the curtain, terrified of being seen. If that resonates with you, if you have been performing for so long that you are no longer certain who the real you even is anymore, I want you to internalize this powerful truth. The real you is still there. Beneath all the layers of protection you have diligently constructed, beneath all the roles you have played, beneath all the masks you have worn, There resides a person who profoundly deserves to be seen. And the world, my friend, deserves to meet them. Begin small. You do not need to dismantle every single wall you have built overnight. Share one genuinely honest thought in your next conversation. Express one authentic feeling instead of the polished, socially acceptable version. Allow yourself to be a little bit messy, a little bit imperfect, a little bit gloriously real, and observe what unfolds. I believe you will discover that the people truly worth keeping in your life do not desire the performance. They desire you. Vulnerability is one of the most profoundly underrated ingredients in winning people over. So many individuals mistakenly equate vulnerability with weakness, but the truth is the exact opposite. Sharing your struggles, your genuine doubts, your past failures, your raw fears, that demands enormous courage. And when you bravely do it, you forge an incredibly powerful, empathetic bond with others. It unequivocally demonstrates that you are human, just like them. Consider this. Who do you feel a deeper, more authentic connection to? The individual who consistently presents a perfect, untouchable, impenetrable image, or the one who openly admits they have stumbled, made mistakes, felt utterly lost, yet bravely kept going anyway? Perfection is intimidating and isolating. People need to perceive that the person you are on Monday is the same person you are on Friday, that the person you are with your boss is the same person you are with the waiter. If you behave one way in a particular setting and a completely different way in another, trust erodes with astonishing speed. Even seemingly minor inconsistencies, such as being warm to someone's face but gossiping about them behind their back, can irrevocably shatter your credibility. The most genuinely magnetic individuals are the steady ones. What you see is precisely what you get, always, regardless of the context. Living authentically also inherently means setting boundaries. This might seem contradictory. One might assume that being real implies being open to everything and everyone. But in actuality, possessing clear limits and possessing the courage to communicate them is one of the most authentic and self-respecting things you can do. When you establish clear, firm boundaries, people understand precisely where they stand with you. They might not always appreciate those boundaries, but they will invariably respect them deeply. And respect, as we have definitively established, is infinitely more valuable and enduring than fleeting approval. Here is a practical self-check you can perform. After your next social interaction, pause and notice how you genuinely feel. Do you feel energized, uplifted, and at peace? Or do you feel drained, anxious, perhaps a little hollow, as if you were performing a role instead of simply being present? That inner discomfort is your internal compass, signaling that you were not fully aligned with your authentic self. The more diligently you practice showing up authentically, the less frequently that discomfort will arise, and the more genuinely connected and nourishing your relationships will become. When you courageously lead with authenticity, something truly magical happens. You cease to chase influence, and remarkably, influence begins to chase you. People are instinctively drawn to your honesty, your transparency, your profound willingness to be real when everyone else is engaged in elaborate performance. They will trust your words because they implicitly trust your character. Even when they disagree with you, they will admire you for standing firmly and authentically in your truth. Reflect on the most memorable individuals you have ever encountered, the ones who left an indelible mark on your soul. I am willing to wager that they were not the most polished, nor the most impressive on paper. They were the ones who felt profoundly real. They looked you directly in the eye, spoke with unwavering sincerity, and made you feel inherently safe to be your true self, precisely because they were not afraid to be their true selves first. That, my friends, is the liberating power of authenticity. It does not demand attention. It invites genuine, profound connection, embodying the true spirit of liberty in your interactions. So, let this be your unwavering reminder. You do not need to be perfect to win people over. You simply need to be you, the real, unfiltered, imperfect, beautifully human you, in a world that is drowning in pretense and artificiality. That is unequivocally the most magnetic and transformative offering you possess. Chapter 12. Stay calm under pressure. Life, my friends, will undeniably test you. It is not a question of if, but rather when. There will inevitably be moments when everything feels as though it is crashing down around you simultaneously. Deadlines will pile up relentlessly, relationships will strain under unforeseen pressures, and unexpected setbacks will blindside you from directions you never even conceived. And in those raw, white-knuckle moments, a crucial phenomenon unfolds. People will invariably look to you. They will observe, often unconsciously, how you react. And here is the undeniable truth. Your inherent ability to maintain calm under immense pressure can fundamentally determine whether you rise as a composed leader or crumble under the crushing weight of stress. Reflect on the individuals you most genuinely admire and deeply respect. Are they the ones who panic, explode in frustration, or fall apart emotionally when things go awry? Probably not. More likely, they are the ones who somehow maintain their composure, who think with clarity and precision when everyone else around them is spiraling into chaos. That particular brand of calmness under pressure is not merely impressive, it is profoundly magnetic. It draws people in, inspiring unwavering confidence and trust. When you possess the capacity to remain steady amidst a raging storm, you become the indispensable anchor whom everyone looks to. Not because you possess all the immediate answers, but because you demonstrably possess the innate ability to navigate uncertainty without losing your center. Has this ever happened to you? A moment of intense pressure where you surprised yourself by maintaining composure, and afterward you felt an unexpected surge of quiet strength, a profound sense of, I can handle more than I thought possible. That, precisely, is the recurring gift this invaluable skill bestows upon you. The first step in cultivating this profound inner calm is exquisitely simple. Pause before you react. The vast majority of people inadvertently exacerbate situations by acting on impulse. An angry email begets an equally angry reply. A harsh, critical comment triggers a defensive, retaliatory snap. Stressful situation instigates frantic, scattered, ineffective action. But when you consciously pause, even for a mere 3 or 4 seconds, you create a critical, liberating gap between the external event and your internal response. In that tiny, potent gap, you reclaim your inherent power. You shift from a reactive, impulsive mode to an intentional, deliberate one. You grant yourself the invaluable opportunity to think, to reflect, to choose, instead of merely reacting instinctually. It is akin to hitting a mental reset button. Foster. Breathing. I know. It sounds almost laughably basic, but physiologically, it is one of the most profoundly effective tools at your disposal in high-stress moments. When you engage in slow, deep, diaphragmatic breaths during a stressful situation, you are literally communicating to your nervous system, we are safe, we can handle this. Your heart rate will perceptibly slow, Your mind will begin to clear. Your turbulent emotions will gradually settle. It is a small, seemingly insignificant action with a disproportionately large, transformative impact. Try it the next time you feel pressure mounting. 3 slow, deep breaths before you respond to anything stressful. You will be astonished by the clarity and calm it generates. Perspective is another game changer. Pressure often feels overwhelmingly debilitating when you mentally inflate the situation, when you convince yourself that it is catastrophic, permanent, or all-encompassing. We possess a natural tendency to catastrophize, conjuring worst-case scenarios that, statistically, almost never materialize. But when you consciously step back and view the situation objectively, as if you were offering advice to a trusted friend enduring the same predicament, the problem typically shrinks significantly. Ask yourself honestly, will this truly matter a year from now, 5 years from now? More importantly, what specific part of this complex situation can I actually control right now? When you diligently focus on what you can genuinely influence and consciously release your attachment to what you cannot, the daunting mountain often recedes, transforming back into a manageable hill. Preparation is your steadfast ally here. Calm individuals are not calm because nothing phases them. They are calm because they have diligently prepared, mentally, emotionally, and practically. Consider a firefighter. They do not wait until a building is engulfed in flames to formulate a plan of action. They train relentlessly, meticulously, so that when the critical moment arrives, they respond with unwavering clarity and precision, not with chaos. You can implement the same principle in your own life. Develop grounding routines that center you. Construct systems that keep you organized and efficient. Practice facing difficult conversations or scenarios before they become urgent. The more comprehensively prepared you are, the less any external pressure can genuinely shake you. And then there is self-talk, your inner narrator. Under pressure, that insistent voice in your head can become either your greatest, most supportive ally or your cruelest, most destructive saboteur. If your internal monologue is relentlessly repeating, "This is too much, I cannot handle it, everything is falling apart," you will, predictably, feel precisely that way. Your body will tense. Your thinking will narrow. But if you skillfully catch that narrative and consciously redirect it, "I have faced difficult challenges before. I am capable. I will take this one step at a time," you will tap into an entirely different, deeper reserve of inner strength. What do you typically tell yourself when adversity strikes? Pay acute attention to that voice. It matters more than you realize. Here is something truly profound about calmness. It is contagious. When you steadfastly maintain your composure, while everyone else around you is losing theirs, you inadvertently give others permission to calm down as well. Imagine being in a meeting where emotions are running high, voices are raised, and tension is palpable, and then you speak up with a steady, measured calm. The entire energy of the room shifts. People begin to breathe easier. They start to think rationally again, instead of merely reacting emotionally. That person becomes the calm anchor, the stabilizing force in the room. That person, my friend, could be you. Of course, saying calm does not imply ignoring problems or pretending that everything is perfectly fine when it clearly is not. It means approaching difficult situations with clarity, intentionality, and a problem-solving mindset, rather than succumbing to panic and reactivity. It is about acknowledging, yes, this situation is indeed challenging, but I am committed to handling it thoughtfully and effectively. When you remain grounded, you inherently make better decisions, and you inspire unwavering confidence in everyone around you. Sometimes, the most arduous aspect of maintaining calm is the conscious act of releasing the need to control everything. So much of our perceived pressure originates from attempting to micromanage outcomes that are genuinely beyond our sphere of influence. But the truth is simple. You cannot control every variable. You cannot control other people's actions or reactions. You cannot control the economy, the weather, or the myriad random events that shape each day. What you can always control is your effort, your attitude, and your response. When you firmly ground yourself in those three immutable elements, you liberate yourself from the crushing weight of trying to orchestrate the entire universe. Think about it deeply. Life will perpetually present moments of chaos. You cannot escape the storms, but you can, in every single instance, choose how you show up within them. You can choose to be the person who succumbs to panic and exacerbates the situation, or you can choose to be the person who remains grounded, thinks clearly, and leads everyone through to the other side. Pause, breathe, gain perspective. Focus diligently on what is within your hands, within your sphere of control. Be the calm in the storm, not the storm itself. Because when you master this profound skill, you do not merely survive tough moments, you transform them into your greatest demonstrations of character, leadership, and personal liberty. And that, unequivocally, is one of the most powerful traits you can ever develop on your journey to becoming truly charismatic and influential. Chapter 13. Build a reputation that speaks for you. Your reputation is a living, breathing entity. It is a shadow that precedes you, following you everywhere you go, subtly influencing perceptions even when you are not physically present. At this very moment, as you absorb these words, there are individuals who hold an opinion of you. They have formed ideas, perhaps based on interactions, perhaps based on hearsay, about who you are, what you stand for, and what it is like to be in your orbit. And here is the part that holds immense significance. Your reputation often arrives in places long before you do. Before you walk into a crucial job interview, before you enter a new social circle, before someone even considers engaging in business with you or pursuing a romantic connection, your reputation has already had the inaugural conversation. The pertinent question, then, is not whether you possess a reputation, because you undeniably do. The question is, what compelling story is it currently telling about you? In today's hyper-connected world, where information travels instantaneously and impressions form in mere seconds, your reputation is arguably more valuable than any skill set, any academic degree, or any amount of wealth you may possess. Skills might initially open a door for you, but it is your reputation that ultimately determines whether you remain in that room and how far you are truly permitted to ascend. People inherently choose to do business with those they trust. They enthusiastically recommend, diligently promote, and steadfastly support those they genuinely believe in. If your aspiration is to cultivate lasting charisma and wield profound influence, you must be meticulously intentional about the image and character you project. For once trust is fractured, it becomes an extraordinarily arduous, almost impossible task to fully rebuild it. So, how do you meticulously construct a reputation that actively works for you, even in your absence? It all begins with consistency. This is the unshakable bedrock. People need to know precisely what to anticipate from you, regardless of the setting or circumstances. Imagine an individual who is effusively warm and charming to their boss, yet curt and rude to a waiter, dismissive toward those they deem unimportant, or short-tempered with their own family. That glaring inconsistency does not merely present a negative image, it irrevocably erodes trust and credibility. True leaders, true individuals of influence, are steady and predictable in their fundamental character. But whether you are conversing with a CEO, a stranger on a bus, or a small child, your core respect, integrity, and graciousness should remain constant and unwavering. Consistency is the architect of reliability, and reliability, in turn, is the builder of an impeccable reputation. Next, and this point is both strikingly simple and tragically rare, keep your word. When you state that you will undertake something, then do it. Arrive punctually, meet your deadlines. Diligently follow through on your promises, even the seemingly small ones, especially the small ones, because it is often in the minor commitments that most people falter. They cancel plans at the last minute, miss deadlines by a single day, or forget to send that crucial email they promised. Each broken commitment, however minor, subtly chips away at their credibility, often without them even realizing the cumulative damage. But when you become universally known as someone who can be consistently counted upon, that reputation for dependability becomes more valuable than any individual achievement listed on your resume. Your work ethic also speaks volumes about your character. You do not necessarily have to be the most innately talented or gifted individual in any given room, but you should, without exception, always be among the most committed. People keenly observe effort. They notice when someone consistently goes above and beyond what is expected, without being explicitly asked, without complaining, without constantly seeking credit. Over time, this consistent dedication builds a reputation for excellence that precedes you into every new opportunity. Others will begin to perceive you as someone who reliably delivers, someone who takes profound pride in their work, and when new opportunities inevitably arise, guess who they will think of first: the individual who has consistently demonstrated integrity and unwavering effort. However, a robust reputation is not solely constructed through what you do. It is equally, if not more profoundly, shaped by how you treat people. Your true character is most vividly revealed in those small, often unseen, moments when no one else is watching. Are you genuinely kind when there is no discernible advantage in being so? Do you generously offer credit to others instead of selfishly claiming it for yourself? Do you speak well of others, even when they are not present to hear your words? These seemingly insignificant choices create powerful ripple effects that travel far wider and deeper than you can ever fully comprehend. People may not recall every minute detail of your actions, but they will absolutely, unequivocally never forget how you made them feel. A reputation meticulously built on genuine kindness and profound respect will endure, outlasting any temporary success, any fleeting achievement. Consider it in this light: when an individual passes away, no one stands at their funeral recounting their job title or their net worth. Instead, it recounts stories about that person's character, their kindness, their integrity, their impact on others. That, in its truest form, is reputation, the enduring echo of how you lived, reverberating long after your physical presence is gone. You are actively building that echo right now, with every interaction, every choice, every small moment of integrity or kindness. What kind of echo are you currently creating? Here is something people frequently overlook in our digital age. Your online presence is an indispensable component of your modern reputation. Every post, every comment, every photograph you choose to share tells a continuous story about you. Before someone considers hiring you, partnering with you, or even embarking on a first date, there is a very high probability they will conduct an online search for your name. What will they discover? Is it consistent with the authentic, principled image you endeavor to project? Be profoundly thoughtful and intentional about what you disseminate into the digital world, because once it is out there, becomes an enduring, often immutable, part of your story. Naturally, no one is perfect. At some point, you will inevitably make mistakes. You will say the wrong thing, miss an opportunity, or unintentionally let someone down. That is an intrinsic part of being human. But here is what differentiates individuals with strong, resilient reputations from everyone else. How they handle their mistakes matters far more than the mistakes themselves. Courageously own up to them. Offer a sincere, unequivocal apology. Not the hollow, "I am sorry if you were offended" type of apology, but a genuine, heartfelt one. Take full responsibility without resorting to excuses or blame shifting. People respect honesty and humility far more than a facade of unattainable perfection. In fact, recovering from a mistake with genuine grace and accountability can sometimes even strengthen your reputation because it profoundly demonstrates maturity, resilience, and character. Building a powerful reputation is a long game, perhaps the longest, most enduring game you will ever play. You will not witness immediate, overnight results. Most days it may even feel as though your diligent efforts are going completely unnoticed. But you must stay the course. Continue to show up with unwavering integrity. Continue to treat people with profound respect and kindness. Continue to deliver excellent work, because over time, your reputation will meticulously build momentum. It will begin to work for you in rooms you have not even entered yet. People will instinctively recommend you without being asked. Opportunities will magically appear that you did not actively seek out. Doors will open because someone, somewhere, told someone else, "You absolutely need to meet this person." That is the silent, yet profoundly powerful force for a reputation built on genuine substance. It does not demand a spotlight. It does not require an aggressive marketing campaign. It simply, quietly, and consistently opens doors, builds trust, and amplifies your influence for years, even decades, to come. So ask yourself today, what story is my reputation currently telling? And more importantly, is it the story I authentically want to tell? If not, begin to make those small, intentional changes now. Every interaction, every choice, every fleeting moment is a crucial brick in the majestic foundation of your reputation. Build it wisely, and it will become one of your most invaluable assets, a silent force that unlocks opportunities, fosters unwavering trust, and grants you an unparalleled sense of personal liberty and influence throughout your journey. Chapter 14. Led with influence, not authority. There exists a fundamental, often misunderstood, distinction between being a boss and being a true leader. A boss, typically, relies on external authority, on titles, on rigid rules, on organizational hierarchy, and, when deemed necessary, on the subtle, or not so subtle, leverage of fear. Their primary objective is often to get things done. A true leader, conversely, relies on something infinitely more powerful and enduring: influence. A leader does not need to overtly demand respect because they have already, through their character and actions, profoundly earned it. People do not follow them out of obligation. They follow because they genuinely want to. They follow because they believe in the leader's vision, in their integrity, and in the journey that person is charting, and they deeply desire to be an integral part of that journey. That, my friends, is the kind of leadership that does not just produce temporary results. It transforms individuals. It cultivates unwavering loyalty that endures through the most challenging storms, and it leaves behind a profound, lasting legacy. Think back to the individuals who have exerted the greatest positive impact on your own life. Were they the ones who barked orders, micromanaged your every move, or employed intimidation tactics to keep you in line? Most likely not. They were, in all probability, the ones who made you feel genuinely seen, deeply valued, and profoundly motivated. They did not merely tell you what actions to take. They helped you understand why those actions mattered. They believed in your inherent potential, often before you recognized it within yourself. That precisely is influence. It is inherently quieter than raw authority. It is more subtle, more nuanced, but it is exponentially far more powerful and sustainable. Herein lies the inherent problem with relying solely on authority. It only yields results when someone is actively watching. The moment the boss leaves the room, the manager ceases their oversight, or the pressing deadline passes, people often revert to doing the absolute minimum required. Authority creates temporary compliance, a superficial adherence to rules. Influence, on the other hand, cultivates profound, lasting commitment. When an individual is genuinely influenced, when they have been truly inspired, not coerced, they willingly offer their best effort, even when no one is observing. This is not driven by fear of consequences, but by a deep-seated belief in the mission and the integrity of the person leading it. So, how does one lead with this transformative power of influence? It begins, as it always must, with trust. Without trust, genuine influence is utterly impossible. It is akin to attempting to construct a magnificent edifice without a foundational bedrock. People must unequivocally believe that you genuinely have their best interests at heart, not merely your own self-serving agenda. Trust is not a sudden epiphany. It is meticulously built over time, through the accumulation of small, consistent, transparent actions. It resides in the promises you faithfully keep. It is reflected in the compassionate manner in which you treat individuals when unforeseen challenges arise. It is embodied in the unwavering honesty you offer, even when a convenient lie might seem easier. When people profoundly trust you, they will willingly follow you through daunting challenges, because they possess an inherent conviction that you will never knowingly lead them astray. Respect constitutes the second indispensable pillar. And here, an important distinction must be made. Respect that is overtly demanded is fragile and ephemeral. Respect that is genuinely earned is indestructible and enduring. True respect emanates from the way you carry yourself, the profound manner in which you listen to others, how you value their perspectives, how generously you distribute credit when successes occur, and how honestly you accept responsibility when things inevitably go awry. When respect flows reciprocally, when you extend it as freely as you hope to receive it, influence blossoms almost effortlessly. Leading by example, stoic, is arguably the most potent leadership tool that exists. It is, paradoxically, also the one most frequently underutilized. You can deliver the most inspiring, eloquent speech in the world, but if your actions fundamentally contradict your words, no one will genuinely follow you. If your aspiration is for your team to embody integrity, then you must be impeccably honest yourself. If you desire those around you to exhibit resilience, then they need to observe you bouncing back from setbacks with grace and determination. Actions, my friends, set the definitive standard. Words merely describe it. People are always observing, even when you mistakenly believe they are not. Empathy is another profoundly essential leadership quality. When you consciously take the time to deeply understand what others are feeling, their fears, their frustrations, their hopes, their aspirations, you gain invaluable insight that empowers you to guide and inspire them far more effectively. Leadership devoid of empathy is merely management, a cold, transactional process. Leader who listens intently, who acknowledges effort sincerely, who remembers personal details, who demonstrates genuine human care. That is someone people will willingly, even eagerly, walk through walls for. Not because they are obligated, but because they feel profoundly valued and understood. One of the most pervasive misconceptions about leadership is the notion that one must possess all the answers. The inverse, remarkably, is often true. The strongest, most influential leaders are precisely those who are comfortable saying, "I do not know, but let us figure it out together." That kind of honesty, that profound humility, does not diminish your stature. It makes you appear profoundly real and relatable. It empowers the individuals around you to actively contribute, to collaborate, and to take genuine ownership of the outcome. When people feel that their ideas and contributions genuinely matter, they become invested in the ultimate success at a completely different, deeper level. That, precisely, is influence in action. It transforms passive followers into active, committed partners. Conflict is an unavoidable reality in any leadership role, and it is precisely in these challenging moments that influence shines brightest. A leader who relies solely on authority might employ fear or pressure to force a resolution, which, while achieving temporary compliance, invariably breeds deep-seated resentment beneath the surface. A leader who skillfully utilizes influence, however, approaches conflict with profound curiosity and understanding. They listen intently. They diligently seek common ground. They collaboratively work towards solutions that honor and benefit everyone involved. This approach does not merely resolve the immediate problem. It meticulously builds loyalty and strengthens the cohesion of the team. Reflect on history's greatest, most revered leaders. They did not rule with an iron fist or through arbitrary decrees. They inspired movements, rallied entire nations, and ignited transformative change precisely because they led with influence, not brute force. Their power emanated not from a conferred title, but from the profound way they made people feel, inspired, valued, empowered. That particular brand of leadership endures far beyond any temporary position or monetary compensation. In your own life, irrespective of your formal role, you possess the extraordinary opportunity to lead with influence. Whether you are guiding a professional team, nurturing a family, offering support to a friend navigating a difficult period, or simply striving to be a better partner, you are already, in essence, leading. The crucial question is, how? Are you attempting to control outcomes and dictate behavior, or are you genuinely inspiring the people around you to choose their best path? Are you relying on the cold mechanics of fear, or are you meticulously building the warm, resilient bonds of trust? When you consciously choose influence over mere authority, something truly beautiful and far-reaching begins to unfold. A ripple effect. The individuals you have inspired will, in turn, go on to inspire others. Your leadership evolves into a profound legacy. Where falsets, actions, and aspirations of every single person you have profoundly touched. Authority, by its very nature, dissipates the moment the title is rescinded. Influence, on the other hand, forged in the crucible of trust and respect, endures forever. And choose to lead with an open heart, with a compelling vision, and with unwavering authenticity. Be the kind of leader people desire to follow, not the kind they feel compelled to obey. When you lead with influence, you do not merely achieve results, you fundamentally change lives. And that, my friends, is the unequivocal mark of true, liberating leadership. Chapter 15. Become the person everyone wants to know. Imagine this scenario. You walk into a room, and something subtle, yet utterly unmistakable, shifts in the atmosphere. Conversations momentarily pause, heads instinctively turn in your direction. There is a quiet, almost imperceptible gravitational pull, not because you are the flashiest person in the room, nor because you made some grand, attention-grabbing entrance, but because there is an inexplicable quality about your energy that simply draws people in. What is this elusive quality? Where does it originate? And can you, in fact, genuinely cultivate it? Yes, absolutely, unequivocally, yes. Becoming the person everyone wants to know is not about perfecting some unattainable, flawless image. It is not a privilege reserved solely for celebrities, social media influencers, or the genetically blessed. It is fundamentally the culmination of specific, deliberate choices, consistent habits, and the profound way you consistently carry yourself in the world. Everything we have explored together throughout this transformative journey, unshakable confidence, profound understanding of others, masterful communication, purposeful listening, commanding body language, genuine rapport, graceful handling of conflict, ethical influence, a sterling reputation, calm under pressure. This, my friends, is the summit. Here is the core secret, and it is deceptively simple. People are instinctively drawn to those who make them feel genuinely good about themselves, not in a superficial, sycophantic way, but in a profound, authentic, I'll feel more alive, more valued, and more hopeful after interacting with you kind of way. It is not about being the most impressive person in the room. It is about being the most genuinely interested. When you offer someone the invaluable gift of your full, undivided attention, when you listen deeply and demonstrate authentic care about their world, they feel profoundly valued and respected. And people, I assure you, will never forget someone who made them feel genuinely valued. Never. Have you ever encountered someone and walked away feeling somehow lighter, more energized, more hopeful, perhaps even more optimistic about yourself and your own potential? That precisely is the magnetic quality I am describing, and the individual who evoked that feeling probably was not attempting to be impressive or dazzling. They were simply, profoundly, genuinely present with you. To cultivate this compelling magnetism, begin with your energy. This is the invisible force that precedes you everywhere you go. People instinctively sense your vibe before you even utter a single word. If you are carrying a burden of bitterness, anxiety, or pervasive negativity, others will feel it, irrespective of the eloquent words you choose. Conversely, if you enter a space radiating genuine warmth, grounded confidence, and a sense of calm purpose, people will gravitate toward you almost instinctively. This does not necessitate being relentlessly upbeat or feigning artificial happiness. It means being deeply centered, at peace with your authentic self, and fully present in the moment. People are starving for that kind of steady, warm, reassuring energy. You become the calm amidst the chaos, and people will intrinsically desire to be near that profound stability. Next, diligently focus on adding value wherever you go. The person everyone desires to know is not the one who takes from others. It is, invariably, the one who gives. This could manifest as offering genuine encouragement, generously sharing useful insights, strategically connecting individuals who could mutually benefit each other, or simply bringing a palpable sense of positivity to any gathering. When others begin to associate you with solutions rather than problems, with warmth rather than drama, they will naturally seek you out. You become the individual people instinctively think of when something positive unfolds, when a valuable opportunity emerges, or when they require someone they can absolutely trust. Confidence, without arrogance, is magnetic in a way few other qualities can replicate. True confidence is steady, humble, and internally validated. It does not need to dominate conversations, nor does it feel compelled to constantly prove itself through one-upmanship or competitive displays. Arrogance, conversely, repels because it feels inherently competitive, as if every interaction is a contest to establish superiority. But genuine confidence invites trust. It subtly communicates, "I know who I am, and I possess no need to diminish anyone else to feel good about myself." When you embody this profound sense of self-assuredness, you create an environment where everyone around you feels inherently safe to be authentic as well. That, my friends, is a rare and precious gift, and that is precisely why it is so profoundly attractive. Whom also plays an incredibly powerful role. You do not need to aspire to be a stand-up comedian. Rather, cultivate a genuine lightness of spirit. The innate ability to laugh easily, especially at yourself, simultaneously signals both strength and profound humility. People cherish being around individuals who do not take themselves overly seriously, who can inject a sense of ease into tense moments, and who can effortlessly make others smile. Well-timed, genuine laugh can dismantle barriers far more rapidly than hours of earnest, serious conversation. Reliability, as we have previously discussed, might be the least glamorous quality on this list, but it is, without doubt, one of the most potently powerful. Be the individual who consistently follows through, who arrives punctually when they say they will, who faithfully keeps their promises, both the grand and the seemingly insignificant, in a world where flakiness has, tragically, become almost normalized. Genuine reliability makes you stand out like a radiant beacon of trust. People learn that they can unequivocally count on you, and that hard-earned trust becomes an irresistible magnet for deeper relationships and greater opportunities. And through all of this, never, ever lose your authenticity. You cannot genuinely be the person everyone wants to know if you are perpetually performing a character. Courageously embrace your real self, your strengths, your unique quirks, your beautiful imperfections, and all. The more genuinely you show up, the more you inadvertently give others the invaluable permission to do the same. Authenticity is rare, and rare qualities are always magnetic. Continuously commit to growth, read voraciously, learn incessantly, challenge your own preconceived notions, and actively seek out new experiences. People are naturally drawn to individuals who are continuously evolving because they embody possibility. It offers a powerful reminder that growth is perpetually available, that life does not have to remain static, that there is always more to discover, more to become. When you diligently invest in your own personal development, you do not merely improve yourself, you elevate every single interaction you have with others. Now, imagine the profound ripple effect of becoming this kind of person. New friendships will form effortlessly, organically. Career opportunities will come knocking without you having to frantically chase them. People will eagerly introduce you to their own inner circles because they instinctively know you will bring immense value, warmth, and positivity into their lives. Your network will expand naturally. Your influence will grow quietly yet powerfully. Your very presence will evolve into a genuinely positive force wherever you go. The truth is, being the person everyone wants to know is not fundamentally about impressing others. It is about profoundly impacting them. It is about consistently leaving people better than you found them every single time, whether through a kind, encouraging word, a thoughtful, helpful action, a sincere compliment, or simply by being a calm, steady, uplifting presence in a world that desperately yearns for more of that. When you embody this way of living, you do not merely build connections, you construct a profound, lasting legacy. So step into every room with the unwavering intention to give, to listen, and to inspire. Be the calm, unwavering presence in chaos. Be a reliable, trustworthy friend in a world of pervasive uncertainty. Be the authentic voice in a vast ocean of noise. When you consistently live this way, you will have no need to chase influence or opportunities. They will gravitate toward you naturally and abundantly. Because here is the final, beautiful truth about becoming the person everyone wants to know. It is not actually about everyone wanting to know you. It is about the quality, the connections you meticulously build, not the quantity. It is about the profound depth, not the superficial breadth. You do not require 1,000 followers to experience genuine fulfillment. You need a handful of real, honest, deep relationships with individuals who truly see you, and who genuinely cherish what they see. The irony is this: when you cease trying to be impressive and instead focus on being impactful, when you halt your performance and begin to genuinely connect, when you release the debilitating need to be superficially liked by everyone and instead focus on being authentically real with the people who truly matter, that is when the magic truly unfolds. That is when you become irresistible, not because you are perfect, but because you are profoundly present, not because you are flawlessly polished, but because you are undeniably genuine, not because you possess all the answers, but because you care enough to keep asking the right questions with an open heart. They will come to you naturally, abundantly, and precisely when you need them most. Conclusion: take a deep, cleansing breath. You have just journeyed through a comprehensive blueprint for becoming more charismatic, more confident, and more profoundly, genuinely influential. If you have stayed with me this far, truly stayed, not merely listened passively, but absorbed, reflected, and integrated these concepts, then something fundamental within you has already begun to shift. By now, you unequivocally understand that social intelligence is not some rare, mystical gift bestowed upon a fortunate few, nor an innate trait reserved for the naturally charming. It is a meticulously developed skill set, a powerful collection of habits, mindsets, and intentional practices that anyone can cultivate, and that includes you, especially you. The tools, the insights, the roadmap are now firmly in your hands. What you choose to do with them, the consistent action you take, will profoundly shape not only how others experience and perceive you, but, more importantly, how you experience and perceive yourself. This is the essence of individual liberty, the freedom to craft your own social destiny. Think back to where this transformative journey began. We started with the unshakable foundation, building profound self-confidence. Everything else flows directly from that inner core of belief. Without it, every interaction feels precarious, as if you are merely performing a role, rather than being authentically present. But when you truly trust yourself, when you carry yourself with a quiet, unwavering certainty, people instinctively feel it. They respect it. They are naturally drawn to its magnetic resonance. Then we embarked upon exploring the profound art of truly understanding others, learning to read their words, their unspoken emotions, their nuanced body language, like an open book. This, we established, is not a tool for manipulation or exploitation, but a powerful bridge to deep connection. When people feel genuinely seen, truly heard, and deeply understood in a world where many feel invisible, they instinctively open up. They trust you. And trust, my friends, is the invaluable currency of all meaningful relationships. From that deep understanding, we meticulously built outward, layer by layer, mastering the intricate facets of charisma, crafting powerful first impressions, communicating with clarity and impact, cultivating the art of purposeful listening, harnessing body language to command respect, developing the subtle finesse of building instant rapport. You have learned how to navigate criticism and conflict with grace, how to ethically influence without resorting to manipulation, and how to forge networks built on genuine value and mutual respect, rather than shallow, transactional agendas. These are the indispensable skills that transform mundane, everyday conversations into profound opportunities for leadership, growth, and personal freedom. We also delved into deeper, more foundational truths: the transformative power of authenticity, the resilience of calmness under pressure, and the enduring legacy of a meticulously built reputation. These are the profound qualities that transmute short-term charm into lifelong, impactful influence. An individual who remains steadfastly true to themselves, who maintains composure when others succumb to panic, and who cultivates a reputation founded on unwavering integrity, becomes truly unforgettable. Their name, their character, carries significant weight, even when they are not physically present in the room. And finally, we arrived at the pinnacle: leadership. Not leadership predicated on titles, authority, or hierarchical power, but leadership that flows organically through inspiration and authentic influence. This, unequivocally, is the highest form of social intelligence: to evolve into the kind of individual whom others willingly follow. Not because they are compelled by obligation, but because they genuinely desire to. The kind of person everyone instinctively wants to know, whose very presence uplifts and empowers others, whose unwavering example challenges those around them to embody their absolute best selves. But here is the most paramount truth to internalize: this is not the end of your journey. It is, in fact, the very beginning. Social intelligence is not a static skill you master once and then check off a list. It is a living, breathing, evolving practice. Every conversation you engage in, every challenge you encounter, every human interaction you experience for the remainder of your life presents a fresh opportunity to refine, to deepen, and to expand your skills. You do not need to strive for unattainable perfection. You will stumble. You will inevitably misread someone. You will, on occasion, utter the wrong thing at an inopportune moment. You will, on days when you are tired or stressed, temporarily revert to old, less effective patterns. And that, my friends, is perfectly, beautifully human. Every misstep is not a failure. It is invaluable data. Every mistake is a profound lesson waiting to be learned. The only true failure is to cease striving, to stop moving forward. Remember these core tenets. Confidence is meticulously built through consistent action, not through passive waiting. Connection is forged through genuine curiosity, not through elaborate performance. And influence is cultivated through unwavering consistency, not through fleeting tricks or fleeting charm. Imagine the boundless life that will unfold before you when you truly commit to putting these principles into consistent practice. You will walk into any room, any situation, feeling genuinely at ease, not because all fear has vanished, but because you possess the profound inner knowing that you are capable of handling whatever arises. People will instinctively lean in when you speak, because your words will carry authentic weight and resonance. You will navigate conflicts with grace and wisdom. You will forge relationships that sustain and nourish your soul, and critically, you will create opportunities for yourself and for countless others. Most importantly, you will live in profound alignment with who you truly are, No masks, no games, just a powerful, genuine, and continuously evolving version of your authentic self. The world, my friends, is desperately hungry for more people like that. It yearns for leaders who inspire with integrity, for friends who listen with their entire being, for individuals who bring light and substance into the world, instead of noise and spectacle. You possess everything it takes to become that person. Every single quality we have meticulously discussed throughout this blueprint is already resident within you, patiently waiting to be developed, to be expressed, to be fully embraced. The blueprint is now laid before you. Now the profound responsibility and the exhilarating liberty are yours to claim. It is up to you to use it. So, go forth and practice. Build your confidence, one brave action at a time. Read the room with an open heart and a discerning mind. Connect deeply, authentically, with every soul you encounter. Led with empathy, with vision, and with unwavering integrity. Day by day, conversation by conversation, you will evolve into the kind of person who does not merely navigate the complexities of the world. You will fundamentally transform it. And as you do, something even more beautiful will transpire. You will not just change the way people perceive you, you will change the way they perceive themselves. Because your courage will grant them permission to be courageous. Your authenticity will inspire them to embrace their own truth. Your kindness will serve as a powerful reminder that kindness, above all else, matters profoundly. That, my friends, is the true, lasting, and magnificent power of social intelligence. And it is yours to claim, starting right now, starting today, starting with your very next interaction. The journey of 1,000 miles, as the ancient sages knew, begins with a single step. And your single transformative step can be as simple as making eye contact with someone tomorrow and holding it just a second longer than usual, truly seeing them, asking someone how they are really doing, and then genuinely waiting with an open heart for their authentic answer. Standing a little taller, with a subtle shift in posture as you walk into your workplace, consciously pausing for 3 deep breaths before you react to something that frustrates you. These are not dramatic, earth-shattering changes. They are quiet revolutions, small intentional shifts in how you choose to show up that will, over time, compound into something truly extraordinary and profoundly liberating. 6 months from now, a year from now, the people in your life will notice a profound difference about you. They might not be able to articulate precisely what has changed, but they will unequivocally feel it. They will say things like, "There is something different about you lately, something good, something powerful." And you, my friend, will know precisely what has transpired. Not a change in your external circumstances, not a sudden stroke of luck, not a forced alteration of your core personality, but a profound transformation of your awareness, your intentionality, and your unwavering commitment to showing up, truly showing up in every interaction, every relationship, every single room you walk into. That is the profound transformation I speak of. Not becoming someone entirely new, but finally, fully, courageously becoming who you have always been, underneath the accumulated layers of doubt, fear, and hesitation. You have been given a complete roadmap. Every chapter, every principle, every question asked along the way, they are all interconnected pieces of the same magnificent puzzle. A puzzle that, when meticulously assembled, will reveal the most confident, the most connected, and the most influential version of you, the version that was always there, patiently waiting for permission to step forward, to shine, to lead. This is your permission. Step forward. The world is waiting to meet the real you. What are you waiting for?